Whatever gets you through retirement. Well, Yankees are only in it by half a game. I mean, if
I
we're
know.
ever going to do the question, we should do it, because if they win today, tomorrow it's not as good a question. Plus, we should probably do a college football question tomorrow with Phil Steele.
I don't disagree. I can put it up right now.
Yeah, I think we should. They're half a game ahead of Texas, a game and a half ahead of Cleveland. Hey, pretty soon we're going to be asking the question, are the Mets going to make the playoffs?
What are they up on Cleveland? A game and a half?
Yep. Half on Texas, 1.5 on Cleveland.
I almost want the answers to be, I hope so, I hope not.
You could do that.
I'm just putting yes or no. Because I think people vote that way anyhow when it comes to the Yankees. What'd the 4-letter network do now, Ryan?
It was made official.
Oh, it's...
Michael. August. Let's see.
He's not starting week 1. He's starting a preseason game.
August 8th. It's not
Michael,
week 1.
Not week 1. Stop, please. Jesus. I was mad at David yesterday when we got a great college football guy and he asked a Colorado question to placate you and Irish. No one gives a rat's ass about Colorado.
Well, Dion. There's a few people. You and I are big Dion guys. I just don't know how long he can stay there with his health. I don't see how the altitude's good for him.
God, I'm going yes, and I'm not sure about it.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this hump day. I think we owe it to each other to get over it together, shall we? How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks so much for being with us. Got a nice little show lined up for you. Talk a little Gators with Kevin Brockway, a little Bucs with Greg Auman, and we'll probably talk at length about the ESPN purchase of the NFL Network. Did they really purchase the Red Zone? I'm confused. I know it's under their umbrella, but I don't know. I thought I read lines that basically said the NFL is going to run it. I mean, I'm like, well, wait a minute. Is this like inside the NBA where it's going to air on ESPN, but ESPN's going to have nothing to do with the program?
That seems to be their business model right now. If you think about it, McAfee, they've got nothing to do with. Rich Eisen's going back to ESPN in a month. They have nothing to do with it. They have nothing to do with inside the NBA. So it would make sense that they have nothing to do with the red zone. At least I hope so, because I'm fearful that we're going to end up at some point with commercials on the red zone.
Well, you ain't alone, man. Boy, oh boy. You know, I do have a question. When did people start to turn on ESPN?
Oh, it's been a while.
No, I know, but
it's been at least, it's been building for at least 10 years, David.
But do you remember, I mean, was it college football? Was it the opinions being spewed, and, college football is an opinion sport, and that's what first got people to turn on ESPN? Because, and this is selfish, but, there's this phenomenon that existed for a long time. It was Joe Buck sucked. And everybody was jealous that Joe got his start because he was Jack Buck's son. And it was as if the sports fans nationwide were like, this ain't right. He can't just step in at 26 years of age and be broadcasting a World Series. He can't be replacing Summerall. This ain't right. And then people for 15, 20 years, Joe Buck sucks. Joe Buck sucks. Joe Buck sucks. Now it's funny. Joe Buck's been in their living room for 30 years. He changes networks. They don't see as much of him as they used to. Joe's popularity's never been higher.
You're right. Couple the Joe Buck thing, though. He did one thing that amplified it. I can't think of other things he did, but you go back to the Randy Moss
right. Yep.
mooning, that amplified it.
Yeah, right. No, right at and that took it to another level because it showed everything that they believed about him. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
But I will say, and I can't believe I'm bringing up this name on this show at this hour, but Michelle Obama last week made a comment on a podcast comparing ESPN with the Real Housewives
of Atlanta, right? Yeah.
Whichever city. And I saw it, and I'm like, I was curious enough to click on the article. And she basically said, listen, these shows are a bunch of women yelling at one another. Explain to me what the difference is between that show and essentially the talking head shows on ESPN where they all yell at one another. And I know her popularity where we do our shows is not very high. I get it. I'm not trying to piss you off. I'm really not. But if I took the name out of the person that said it and replaced it with somebody you liked more, how inaccurate would that comment be?
Right. If Joe Rogan said it, how would you feel?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't think she was that far off base. Couple that with President Trump's for somewhere, right before President Trump got elected the first time.
Okay.
Well, what was one of the biggest things that he has run? And I hate doing the political thing, but the wokeness of America.
Yep.
People were bothered by how woke the country was. And there was nothing more woke than ESPN in allowing all of their commentators to seemingly bitch about whatever it is bothered them in the world that crossed over in their minds to sports. And ESPN did a hell of a job, whether it was LeBron, whatever the case may be, whatever social cause was out there, they publicized that and talked about that as much, if not more, than they talked about sports. And that honked people off. They don't want their sports and their politics mixed. And I think that combination has gotten people really upset with ESPN. And ESPN now has tried for the last, I would say, 4 years to become less woke. They still aren't. They still allow it with some and not others, and it's pretty one-sided what they allow. And that, to me, is where the ESPN sucks comes from.
Do you know a single person who has stopped watching the network, though?
Oh, yeah, lots.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Not for live games. Now, again, throw the live games out of it. But, David, you talk about how when you really break down whether it's Get Up or
Right.
whatever the
Take
Stephen
or-
A.
right,
First Take,
right.
there you go. Those shows are really not that heavily watched.
No, it's amazing. It's staggering, mind-boggling the amount of money that is spent on their shows to get 450,000 people to watch. It's stunning. It's stunning. I don't know how they do it. Honestly, Stephen A's making 20. Greeny's making 8. Okay. So they're 8 to noon blocks doing 500,000 viewers.
Right. And it's costing them upwards of $40 million for that when you add in all the other factors, the other people that are getting paid, production costs, etc.
Easy. I mean, if we start looking up the shows that are doing 500,000 viewers, I mean, you'd start laughing. And those shows are spending $137 to be produced.
And then I think you couple that with the fact now that, and there's a lot of cord cutting involved, but most people under the age of 35, and David, if you think about when we got ESPN, and you probably had it before I did because I didn't have cable right away, but I remember getting cable for the first time. I was 10, 11 years old, wherever the case may be, and watching SportsCenter for a half hour with no highlights on repeat. I mean, the show was on repeat from 10 to noon,
Yes.
and we watched it 4 times in a row.
Because they're doing sports 24/7. This is amazing.
And like
Right.
anything else that we like, sooner or later, we find reasons not to like. But you look at someone like us as kids, David, or teenagers or young adults, where we lived for that network, they can get all their highlights somewhere else. I mean, we get our highlights somewhere else. You and I are waking up at the crack of dawn. We may use the ESPN app for our highlights because I'll be honest with you, it's still pretty good for that. I
Yeah.
mean, compare, you and I
really
use about
good.
3 or 4 different apps. And I know it now when I've got to do the starting 5, like you'll be off next Friday. Trent's filling in. I'll do the starting 5. I'm getting up, writing my stuff down at night. When I get up in the morning, I'm watching a few highlights. So if whomever had the 3-run shot, I want to see that 3-run shot. And I don't need to wait until SportsCenter comes on to show it to me. And that's the other side. Since people all get their highlights a different way, SportsCenter largely is opinion-based, not just giving us facts from the night before, because they found that we don't need it.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, we first started not watching SportsCenter. Okay. And that had nothing to do with any sort of politics or
Correct.
bias. Right. We just didn't need technology was making it so that we didn't have to wait till 11 p.m. or midnight to get our highlights. And it's why ESPN made the decision over a decade ago to basically put the future of SportsCenter in Scott Van Pelt's hands and say, carve out your own show, do it however you want to do it. Okay. And basically, man, we need you to succeed, or else, our show for the first 30 plus years of our existence is probably going to bite the dust. And he does well. I mean, he does 3 times the audience between 11 and midnight than Stephen A. and Greeny are doing between 8 and noon on a consistent basis. Okay. But nobody's stopped watching the games, right? I mean, for as much as, and I mean, we get vitriol in the text line 21,000 and in the YouTube and Twitch chat room. I mean, my goodness, do we get vitriol about the 4-letter network? But nobody's not watching the games because of their politics or certain personalities, right?
That's correct. But even Game Day, which is one of the more popular talking head shows that they've ever had,
right,
has competition now. It never had competition. We have choices, even on Sunday morning, because I think their show does, I don't know, is it Fox first and then the ESPN show, or is it Fox CBS,
No.
ESPN?
Well, the Game Day starts at 9. Has Big Noon moved all the way to 9? It was 10 to noon for a long time. They may just be starting up at 9, but game day comes on at 9. I think they've got an hour head start.
But I'm talking Sundays. Fox is the number one pregame show.
Yeah, well, they've got the like pre-game from 11 to noon, and then their main show from noon to 1.
Right, but that's the number one pregame show. That's all
Yes,
I'm.
it is.
And
Yes.
then but even ESPN, you and I have talked about it. Whether it's Fox or CBS or ESPN, there's fantasy shows. There's other shows that give us more info. We have a lot more to choose from. Whereas, 10, 12 years ago, we didn't have these options.
But can I ask a question, though? For as much as you all hate ESPN, can you tell me what they've ruined? Okay, what they put their name on that they have since ruined? Because you're all convinced they are going to ruin Red Zone. You're convinced of it. You're convinced they're going to ruin Inside the NBA, where in theory they're going to have absolutely nothing to do with the show, and you are all convinced that they are going to ruin it. I'm just curious, what have they ruined?
Sports Center.
They've ruined Sports Center? Or did technology ruin Sports Center?
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
Summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your number one Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
And Michael, I understand the games. One, they're not going to be any good. Going back to your Colorado, God, we've got to talk about them. Two, on my show, people would have rather heard a question about UCF than Colorado. And I would bet you any amount of money on that. In fact, quick poll question for the Twitch and YouTube chat rooms. Yes, I care about how Colorado does. No, I don't care about how Colorado does. That's great, EB.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. So, Paul, you don't watch any of the games on the Four Letter Network? College football, college basketball, Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Baseball?
By the way, ESPN just put out a release several minutes ago that starting in 2026, ESPN's direct-to-consumer platform will be the home of every WWE live, premium live event, including WrestleMania. I mean, will the WWE person be mad about that? I don't know. Adam, help. Yeah, Mike and Mike haven't been on the air, though, in a long time. Oof. No, Michael, people down here don't care about the Colorado Buffaloes. I don't know how I can get it through your head. I know you're in Colorado. I know they're your favorite team. Nobody gives a damn down here about Colorado. They don't.
There's interest in Dion, okay? But if he was coaching Texas Tech, you know.
They're not a relevant college football program. I know they are to you, but they're not. They had a great story last year with Travis Hunter. Great story. He's gone.
By the way, we're coming up on 8 years without Mike and Mike. No, okay, with their agenda and what have you, but what have they ruined? I mean,
you know, and someone says they've ruined several shows, but no one can come up with a sport. So let's get our poll question out, revisit it. We can go right back to this, David. We can kill 2 segments on this sucker, starting 5 at 7 o'clock. Bada bing, bada boom. Then, Paula, will you watch more Fox Game Day than ESPN Game Day because you've got your cheerleader this year? I mean, what will you watch, College Game Day or Big Noon Kickoff with the biggest University of Michigan cheerleader on the planet?
Sam Ponder ruined NFL Countdown. That's hysterical.
No, I don't think they destroyed it, Sonny. Greeny destroyed it.
Greeny destroyed the relationship.
Greeny destroyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's pretty factual, too.
That's 100% factual. Greeny wanted away from Golick. He wanted to do his own thing. He wanted off the show. Golick wanted to do Mike and Mike for the rest of his career. Well, then you guys haven't watched the show in a while because she wasn't on it all of last year.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. The starting 5 in a little more than 15 minutes time. A lot going on yesterday in the sports world. And we already have a poll question up. We've held off
about that.
We've held off on it for a couple days because, quite frankly, Mark didn't take it seriously. But even now, Mark is like, we got to take this question seriously.
Yes, we do. The Yankees are up a half a game on Texas, a game and a half on Cleveland. So we ask you, will the Yankees make the playoffs? And reluctantly, David, I said yes, that they will find a way. I don't know how much money I'd put on it, though.
How great would it be if both New York baseball teams spending about $650 million and neither one could sneak in as the 6th seed even? and they'd have to watch, and let's just say it was Cleveland. Let's just say Cincinnati and Cleveland sneak in as the sixes.
So you're telling me we'd have Cleveland, Milwaukee, Detroit, and Cincinnati in the playoffs? Okay. I mean, boy, can't you hear the network TV executives clamoring over those first round matchups?
ESPN would be like, well, there's a reason we're dumping this. Okay. What the heck? Can we dump it before the playoffs start, or are we contractually obligated to run this year's wild card round?
I mean, David, if the Yankees were out at the hands of the Cleveland Indians, or Cleveland Guardians, rather, it would be Detroit, Cleveland, Houston, Seattle, Toronto, and Boston.
And man, would the Red Sox be the savior of the American League television ratings?
And I think to a lesser extent, they'd want an ALCS with Detroit and Boston out of those teams. I really think they would. Detroit's had some ratings this year for whatever reason. And then that would, then the National League, you'd have the Cubs.
You'd have the Dodgers.
You'd have the Dodgers.
You'd have
the Phillies.
Right.
So the National League would be
right.
Relatively safe.
Yeah, they'd have a chance to get some numbers. After that, though, you'd have Milwaukee, San Diego, and Cincinnati.
But now, and then, the Padres would be, if you replace Cincinnati for the Mets, yeah, you're right. Dodgers, Phillies, Cubs, but Brewers, Reds, Padres.
Yep.
Hello.
Yep. Hell of a time to be negotiating a new TV deal, huh?
By the way, yesterday's poll question on National Oyster Day, none took the win with 43%, but combined, more of you like oysters than do not. We knocked down 24 last night at Del Mar in Naples. It was lovely. My daughter had the majority of them. She just slurps those things down.
That's because she doesn't know how much they cost.
No, she knows. I find, Del Mar on Tuesdays, David, $2 oysters. We took advantage. But today it's about the Yanks and will they make the playoffs? Simple as that. Yes or no. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X. But let's get back to the question that David asked before the break. And so far, not one of you has come up with an answer. You've answered questions, just not the one David has asked. What's the sport that ESPN has ruined? You've all said shows. You've talked about pregame shows, and certain people have ruined this, and certain people coming off of this show have ruined that. But what's the sport they have ruined? Can't say the NBA. The NBA's ruined the NBA. It's not ESPN's fault that they're chucking threes at a rate that is sickening.
And load management's not ESPN's fault.
Not at all.
You think any of the networks don't want the stars playing every night? Please.
They would beg for the players to play 80 games. Now, do they talk about the NBA too much, in my opinion? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
On all their formats. I left here yesterday, got in the car, and I listened to the 4-Letter Network on my short drive to work because at 5:30 a.m., they do their Sports Center. And for me, I listen to it there. I listen to it in here as I'm getting set up. And sometimes it gives me a nugget or two that I can use on the show or gives me something I want to look up. But when I got out of the show yesterday, it was still on. And when I left to go do my thing, they were talking about LeBron. And I can't turn that off fast enough on August the 5th.
So I'm just curious about, listen, so the consensus seems to be that you all hate their talking head shows. Got it. Anybody not watching the games, though? Because you don't like how they broadcast them? Now, listen, Miller and Moulton are big hockey guys. We much prefer how TNT covers the NHL than ESPN. We watch the games on ESPN, though. That's where the games are.
So you've got to do better when we ask you to come up with a sport they have ruined. You're all telling, and some of you said, and it wasn't an ESPN broadcaster, but someone just said that this person ruins football for them. I would ask back to the person who doesn't like Sunday Night Football anymore because of Chris Collinsworth, and that was the comment. I, for one, don't mind Collinsworth. David, I think, believes he goes Pro Football Focus a little too much for his liking because it's his company and it's a conflict of interest.
Right.
But do you not watch because of that person?
I mean, did you turn the NBA Eastern Conference Finals off? And you can't say, well, I didn't watch to begin with. But did you turn the NBA's Eastern Conference Finals off because of Stephen A. Smith's involvement in the broadcast? Now, I got to admit, and I'm a Knicks fan, it was a huge turnoff for me. Okay, I did, change the channel during pregame and halftime. I ain't watching any of this crap, blah, blah, blah. And I even missed a little bit of game action because of it. But for the most part, I mean, I watched 90% of the games. College basketball. Do you not watch because of Jay Billis? Did you not watch because of Dickie V? I'm just curious. Do you not watch Monday Night Football because of Joe and Troy? Or if you don't watch, it's because, man, I've watched a lot of football the last 3-4 days. This game doesn't interest me. I'm going to bed. I mean, just curious.
Now, we have one texter who actually says they've ruined college football with their bias. I avoid watching whenever possible. Here's the but, David. Here's the but. But if the Seminoles are on, I must watch. They screwed Florida State. We get it.
No doubt.
You're still watching the games.
No doubt. And listen,
maybe you're saying that if game A is on Fox and game B is on ESPN and you don't have a dog in the fight, you're watching Fox just because you won't watch ESPN? Okay.
Who doesn't talk about the ACC either? And they don't have the rights to the games. But, McAfee's polarizing. We've had people in the chat rooms today say, I actually started watching Game Day again because of McAfee. And others who have gone, oh, no, McAfee, I'm out. Huh.
And to me, he saved the show. That's my opinion. I believe he saved that show because the show was going, in my opinion, going downhill quickly. I've never thought that Desmond offers a whole hell of a lot to the show. Herbie's tried to run to the middle and doesn't have an opinion on anything. And unfortunately, Lee Corso is old and it's just not as good as he once was. But now with Saban and with McAfee, that show has juice, has the same juice that the Big Noon Kickoff had a couple of years ago, David.
And obviously the one network talks an awful lot about the Big Ten and the other network talks an awful lot about the SEC. So
Miller and Moulton.
Just curious because you're all convinced that ESPN is going to ruin Red Zone.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from that fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local glass doctor for
Mark
details.
Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
Paula, don't yell at me with those. I know you're talking to someone else, but I don't need to see all that in capital letters this early. I will put you in timeout for that crap.
Adam, when did somebody else air bowling? I don't know that I've ever seen bowling on any channel other than ABC, ESPN, going back to the 70s. My granddaughter gets put in the brown chair. Apparently, that's the big thing at the school. You misbehave, you go sit in the brown chair.
Oh, really? That's like
Yep.
sitting in the corner?
Yep. She comes over our place, and when we do something she doesn't like, she says we must go sit in the brown chair. Oh. Doc retired. That was his decision.
Ooh, I forgot that started yesterday. The Any Given Saturday show on Netflix. Anybody watch it?
Mm-mm. Bob Wischusen is solid, Michael. A guy who doesn't get a big national run who's good is Brendan Burke. All right. He does Islanders games. He's good.
And Doc
solid.
retired. He's old.
Yeah.
Doc was great, but he retired. And he lost his fastball.
Yes, he had.
And I love Doc. I was able to meet him. I think he's one of the most wonderful human beings I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. He lost his fastball. Really need to find something cool, David. Right now, I haven't found crap that's cool in a day and a half.
I say we go back to the baby crawl.
Only if you can find out the kids walked before.
I think it's obvious.
I think it's obvious.
I think it's obvious.
Do the cars.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Kevin Brockway, 1 hour from now to talk Gators. Coaches poll, they're 17th in the country. Greg Auman, a little more than an hour, talk Tampa Bay Bucs. And Seth Everett, 2 hours from now. I'll bet you we talk a lot about this ESPN NFL deal. By the way, NFL gets 10% ownership of ESPN in the deal.
Right.
Do you know how much that's worth?
Let me just go with a lot, David.
I mean,
what's ESPN worth?
If ESPN was up for grabs, I think it would get at least 50.
That's with a B, right?
That's with a B.
I'm just making sure everybody at home's paying attention.
Right.
So you're telling me that they gave the NFL $5 billion yesterday?
Right. The NFL could turn around, flip it, and spread that $5 billion amongst 32 owners. I mean, what's that? About $160 million an owner? Hey, thanks. This was fun. Next. Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the Starting Five.
Let's start with baseball. See, the Marlins, they got us all excited. Went from 16 below 500. They got to 500. They swept the Yankees. People were coming out to the ballpark. Bada bing, bada boom. The Astros come to town. They're slumping. They're struggling. Astros whoop them again. 7-3 the final. Altuve and Diaz homered. Houston's lead in the West remains 3. Phillies have won 3 in a row. They shut out Baltimore 5-0. Listen, I don't want to say things are going well in Philadelphia, but Tawan Walker's pitching well. And they were desperately trying to unload him for the last year and a half. Phillies lead in the East now 2.5, 3 in the loss column because the Mets suck. They've lost 7 of 8. Cleveland's won 6 of 7. Guardians out bullpen the Mets 3-2. Twins, I will say the folks that are left have been playing good, hard baseball. They're not that good, but they haven't quit. They scored 3 in the first, doubled up the Tigers 6-3, whose lead is down to 7. Should we be worried? Still a lot, but just saying, it's doable. The Reds with 4 in the 7th beat the Cubs 5-1. The Reds are just 3 back of both the Padres and the Mets for a playoff spot. And the Cubs are now 4 back of the Brewers. The Milwaukee Brewers are 44-16 in their last 60 games.
44-16. 44-16, David.
44-16, Mark. It is the best 60-game stretch in the history of the Milwaukee Brewers. That's 55-plus years. Brewers got a 4-run fourth. They've won 5 in a row and 8 of 9. Their lead up to 4. Rays snap a bit of a skid, beat the Angels 7-3 thanks to a 7-run fourth. They're 4.5 out of the playoffs. Got a bunch of teams to climb, however. The Yankees lost again. That's 5 in a row. Nathan Eovaldi, 8 innings of 1-hit ball, but it was scoreless in the bottom of the 8th when Rowdy Tellez a bloop single to center field on a 10-pitch at-bat. Drove in 2, and Texas beat the Yankees 2-0. Yankees are the 6th seed by a half a game over Texas and a game and a half over Cleveland. The Yankees are 25-34 in their last 59. So, Mark, if we compare the Brewers in their last 60 to the Yankees in their last 59, doing some quick math here, 25, 34. Yeah, the Yankees would be 18 and a half games behind the Brewers over the last 60.
Devin Williams really struggling for the Yankees, leading to the back page of the Post with the title today, Devin Deadly Sins.
Man, when the Yankees and Mets suck,
they're
the
so
headline
good
writers
paper.
go nuts. Red Sox have won 7 in a row. A 3-run 7th got Crochet his 13th win of the season. 6-2 Boston over Kansas City. Toronto still has a 3-game lead in the East. However, they hit 5 homers in beating Colorado 10-4. Seattle, they've won 4 of 5. They're 3 behind Houston. They're now the 5 seed. Suarez, his first homer with the Mariners, his 37th of the season. Seattle 8-3 over the White Sox. Muncy and Teoscar Hernandez each hit 2 homers for the Dodgers, who snap out of a funk and double up the Cardinals 12-6. San Diego keeps pace with 5 in the 11th to beat Arizona 10-5. San Diego 3 back of the Dodgers, tied with the Mets for the 5 seed, 3 ahead of the Reds for a playoff spot. Giants get back to 500, hitting 3 homers. They beat the Pirates 8-1. And the A's, Shea Langoliers with 3 homers, as the Nats have lost 6 in a row, 16-7, Oakland/Sacramento/Vegas. NFL, a lot going on yesterday. Bucs signed quarterback Teddy Bridgewater to a 1-year deal. The Rams extend running back Kieran Williams, 3 for 33. Don't you think what's his face in Buffalo's looking at that going, well, I'm better than him? And the Bills are going, well, he's more durable than you. And Cook's going, no, they just give him the ball more than me. But I average almost a yard more every time I touch it than he does. So, that's the minimum. 3 for 33 for Kieran Williams of the Rams. NFL hits the Vikings hard, suspending wide receiver Jordan Addison for the first 3 games of this season. He violated the league's substance abuse policy, pleading no contest to a DUI from last summer. Those first 3 games, by the way, are at Chicago, home for Atlanta, and home for the Bengals. Keenan Allen returns to the Chargers. How much does he have left in the tank? He's a 33-year-old wide receiver, had 70 catches last year in Chicago, returns to the Chargers, 1 year, $8.5 million. Shedeur Sanders is going to start the Browns' first preseason game Friday night against Carolina. Steelers rookie Will Howard breaks a small bone in his right hand. He's going to miss a while, but it's not like he was going to play. In fact, it could help the Steelers
could benefit
out.
the Steelers from a roster standpoint.
Yeah.
It really could.
They could IL him. All right. And what we started our show with, ESPN officially acquiring the NFL Network, and some headlines will make you believe they've also acquired the Red Zone from the NFL. Can I bore everybody and just read one paragraph in its entirety? ESPN will own broad rights to Red Zone, including its trademark, and will continue to distribute the channel to pay TV operators. However, and tell me this is not the most important sentence in this entire story, The NFL will continue to own, operate, and produce the Red Zone channel and will keep the rights to distribute it digitally. The NFL will also continue to own and operate NFL Films and NFL.com. ESPN is getting NFL Network and the games that come with it, and ESPN is getting the NFL brand for fantasy football. ESPN is going to become the NFL's official home where you go if you want to play fantasy football through the NFL. And they gave up 10% of the business to the NFL to do it, which is a minimum of $5 billion in value, by the way.
Someone texted it's worth $30 billion. So a minimum of $3 billion. I'm not going to sit there and try to go back and forth on that. I don't want to get the texter upset, but it's worth a lot of money, gang.
It may be valued at $30 billion. It'll sell closer to 50. You got to trust me. That's like whatever the Cowboys are valued at, throw a few billion on top. That's what you're going to pay to get them. Couple of NBA notes that are noteworthy. The Celtics got rid of George Yang to Utah. They pick up the former St. John's rookie, R.J. Lewis, and 2 second-round picks. But it's a salary dump. They shed his $8 million salary. And by doing so, they get below the, quote, second apron, which allows them to save $34 million in luxury tax and payroll. Get this. Since the NBA draft 6 weeks ago, the Celtics have reduced their payroll from $540 million last year to $239 million this year. Brad Stevens has saved his new ownership group $300 million in 6 weeks.
But at the same time, how much differently are we going to view the East with Boston getting rid of so many players? And we've talked about it. Obviously, with Tatum hurt there, what are they going to be like next year? And there's an opening in the East. Orlando.
Yeah, the Celtics are not going to be a title contender, but they're going to make the playoffs, and they might even be able to win a first-round playoff series. They're going to be thorny. They're going to be a pain in the butt. But they're in position going forward from a cap standpoint to be able to do things if they want. By the way, anybody following the story of the former Heat security guard?
Absolutely.
62-year-old Marcus Perez. So he got wheeled into federal court yesterday, accused of selling $2 million in stolen jerseys and memorabilia. He's apparently sold over 100 items. When they went to his house, they found 300 more jerseys and items in the house.
Game worn jerseys. I mean, that is the key part of that. They're not, he didn't rip them off from the merch stand.
No,
these are game worn jerseys. He apparently sold a LeBron jersey for $100,000 that went for, I believe, $3.7 million at auction.
Yeah, because LeBron wore it in the NBA Finals. One college note: the NCAA passed a set of rules that gives the Power Four conferences more power. Each conference now gets 16% of the vote. So obviously, if the four power conferences agree on something, that becomes law. But if only 3 of the 4 agree, that's still 48%. They can get one small conference to go along with them, and they can get what they want. Golf, Rory is skipping the first playoff event, the FedEx St. Jude Classic, and a lot of people are freaking out. Funny, Tiger did it twice and won the FedEx title. Jim Furyk did it once and still won the FedEx title.
I will say, David, when the players you just mentioned did that, there was one more playoff event.
True.
They have
4, now there's 3.
The fact that there's only 3 and he's skipping one of the 3, I think upsets some people. He already skipped an elevated event once this year. Just people want to see the best players. It does kind of suck.
If I was Rory, I'd skip the second one too. I'm in second place. I'm starting even with Scheffler at the Tour Championship. If I win the Tour Championship, I'll win the FedEx Cup title. Why do I need to play these next 2 weeks? It's a cash grab, and I'm worth $500 million. Anyway.
Understood, David, and you're right, but they do expect these guys to show up for these events.
I understand, but I'll tell you what, it's a compressed golf schedule, and I can see where some of them would go, I've played a lot of golf in the last 6 months. Just saying. Lynx improved to 25-5. They beat Seattle. Okay, New York beat Dallas. LA snapped Indiana's 5-game winning streak. Chicago snapped an 8-game skid, beating Washington. And Phoenix is tied with Atlanta for the third best record in the WNBA by beating Connecticut by 16. Go to millerandmoulton.com and sign up for our Fantasy Football Summit. It's Tuesday. So there, millerandmoulton.com. Dr. Roto, dinner, Miller and Moulton and you, and a lot of football talk.
And I promise on Tuesday, David will not yell at you the way he just did to sign up for the Fantasy Football Summit. We'd love you to attend. We really would. And we won't yell at you. That's not necessarily true. We might, but we promise we'll try not to yell at you. How about that? Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
It's time again for the Miller and Moulton Fantasy Football Summit featuring Dr. Roto, Tuesday, August 12th, Shula Show Sports Cafe inside the Doubletree Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers. Sign up at millerandmoulton.com. You get dinner and the expertise of one of the best fantasy players in the country, and Doc Roto will even give you a cheat sheet for your fantasy draft on your way out the door. Sign up at millerandmoulton.com. Tuesday, August 12th, is our Fantasy Football Summit. Dr. Roto and you. It's a fun night, and we help you win your fantasy football.
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Shula Show Sports Cafe is where your fantasy football draft should be. Free private rooms, Wi-Fi, plus food and drink specials. In August, Shula's has bingo and trivia Tuesdays and Thursdays with your chance to win free wings and beer for a year. Fridays, live music on the deck. Saturdays, karaoke on the deck. Plus daily meal specials like Wednesdays, $6 wings and half-price pizza. Watch all your baseball and football at Shula's Joe's, your home for good food, good times, and good sports in the Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
This is Miller and Moulton.
No, can't remind you. No, if you're not going to pay attention, damn it, we're done helping. Thursday at 8.
That's tomorrow, Michael. Pat Kerwin, Friday at 8. Yeah, but Johnny Mack, if you don't need the money, seriously, okay, it could be table tennis. If you don't need the money, wouldn't you make your own schedule? Also, Rory in the summer lives in Europe.
He does?
Yeah. Yeah, in the summer he lives in Europe. I mean, basically, after the my understanding is after the U.S. Open, Rory goes, quote, home, flies back here to do the FedEx Cup playoffs, and then, they reconvene at some point in Florida.
Well done, Adam. Well done. We got there pretty early. It's been a long time ago, but it's a wonderful thing.
Wow.
How old's the baby, Adam?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It's hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this hump day as we get over it together. Hope your week is going well. Thanks for spending time with us. Kevin Brockway to talk a little Gators in 35 minutes. Greg Auman of Fox to talk a little Tampa Bay Bucs in an hour. And Seth Everett in a little more than 90 minutes. And my guess is we'll talk an awful lot about the ESPN NFL deal, which is pseudo-official last night. It technically needs FCC approval, and there are already some who want the government to nix the deal because they don't like ESPN's politics and at times haven't liked the NFL's politics and therefore want to nix the deal. We'll see. We'll see how this works out, but the plan is for the NFL to own 10% of ESPN and for ESPN to be able to use the Shield for fantasy football, to gain 7 more NFL games that they can do with what they want. They'll own the NFL network, and you will have to go through ESPN to get your red zone. But we cannot emphasize enough. Right now, it clearly looks as if, much like Inside the NBA is producing itself and the show is just airing on ESPN, with ESPN having nothing to do with the talent and the producing of the show. They just air it. The NFL made sure to say, we will continue to own, produce, and operate Red Zone. ESPN, however, will get the money for the Red Zone. But we'll control the product. Thank you very much. And we'll continue to own NFL Films and NFL.com. ESPN will own NFL Network.
I want to correct you, I think, and I want to make sure I have this right, because you said something, I may have heard it wrong, and I just want to make sure. ESPN, you do not have to go through ESPN to get the Red Zone. I don't believe, because ESPN will own the broad rights to Red Zone and continue to distribute the channel to paid TV operators. So if you're on Xfinity and you get Red Zone, you'll still get Red Zone. You don't have to buy the direct-to-consumer app to get Red Zone, is the way I read this. I could be wrong, David, and I'm trying to figure this out because I do think that's important. Like, for instance, I have YouTube TV. With my Sunday ticket, I pay for the Sunday ticket. I also pay for the, I don't know what they call it, the Premier Sunday ticket that includes the Red Zone. That's the way I read this, not going to go away. I don't have to fork out another $30 a month to get the ESPN direct-to-consumer platform. However, if you do buy that, if you're someone who's cut the cord, you don't have, Fubo TV or YouTube TV or Hulu or any of those, and you buy the ESPN app, you will get Red Zone on it. That's the way I read it. I think it's a important point.
The NFL will own Red Zone digitally. ESPN will own the trademark, and they will be the ones that distribute it to pay TV operators. Don't they then have to be compensated for it?
Yes, but all I'm saying is that, and I may have heard you wrong, and I'm not trying to make this into a petty argument, but I thought you said you have to have the ESPN app to get Red Zone, and I don't believe that's the case. If you get, however you get Red Zone, you can still get it. Yes, you're right. Whatever the NFL was getting from YouTube TV, Xfinity, whomever,
that money
will now go to ESPN.
Right.
But you still will be able to get it through your traditional pay TV source.
One other, by the way, ESPN business note, not to become the Sports Business Journal here, but ESPN is now going to stream WrestleMania and all the other major WWE offerings for the next 5 years. And the WWE is getting $1.6 billion, which means ESPN's paying almost as much to the WWE as they are to the NHL. I mean, that's $320 million a year for WWE special events. They pay $400 million a year for the NHL.
Take your bias out. If you were ESPN, what would you rather own? WWE pay TV services or the rights to the NHL?
Oh, WWE, and I don't watch a second of it.
Exactly. I'm right there with you.
Not a second. Haven't watched it in over 20 years. Okay, totally. If I was making that decision, yeah, that's where our $300+ million would be going.
Two hockey guys would be standing there going, yeah, you got to buy the WWE. But you love hockey. I know you got to buy the WWE.
I don't know what to tell you. I'm going where the clicks are. I'm going where the purchasing is. Okay. I ain't making any money on the NHL. I know I'm going to make money on this. I'm going to make a lot of money on this. Don't kid yourself.
And someone's asking, what if you already have the Disney ESPN bundle? I'm not sure, because ESPN Plus is not the ESPN direct-to-consumer plan. They're separate. What I'm wondering is if the ESPN Plus is soon to go away. You know, for those of us that have ESPN Plus, and it gets us bad college basketball and the NHL. I know it gets you some soccer. There are plenty of, they get you the early morning golf. I mean, there are a lot of things that ESPN Plus has, and I use it a lot more than I thought I would. You know, for the beginning of time when I got it, David, it was to watch the occasional FGCU basketball game.
Right.
And they have all the little conferences. And then all of a sudden, oh, wow, golf's on in the morning. I'll watch whatever tournament is before the Golf Channel gets it. Particularly on Thursday and Friday, when you actually see good players in the morning that you're not going to see that afternoon when network coverage begins. So I don't know, but you're paying around $10 a month. The bundle's about $15 a month. They want $30 for the direct-to-consumer. So I think it's an interesting point that this texter brings up of what happens to those of us who have the ESPN Plus bundle, because for a lot of us, that's how we get our hockey.
Well, my guess is it's going to go up. That they'll keep it, but it's going to go up. Could be wrong. You know, because think about it. If they raise it $5, it still seems cheap compared to a lot of other things. I mean, believe me, every other streaming service is raising their prices. I mean, are you getting the email notifications? I've been getting them for the last 6 weeks. Okay, this one's going up $3. This one's going up $5. You know, opt out now, or it goes automatically into effect on such and such a date. We'll bill your credit card. And yes, for those that, you know, are into the WWE and the pay-per-view events, I guess you've been getting them on Peacock. And so now you're going to have to get them on the 4-letter network and what have you. And our buddy, former producer, he claims he's been getting them for free. So now he's all honked off. It's like, oh, I'm going to have to pay for this.
I don't know what to tell you. You're 42 years old. Grow up.
Just get in line like the rest of us.
I'm sorry that somehow you're still sponging off of your mother's cable at 42. Time to pay your own damn bills.
You paying attention to the controversy going on in Tennessee? Okay, 88-year-old season ticket holder.
I thought that's where you were going, but when you say controversy in Tennessee, David, it can mean a lot of things. I mean, you know, I'm a leaving, went to UCLA. I mean, they bounce a coach here. There's always seemingly a controversy going on in Tennessee. But yes, I did see this, that basically a lifelong season ticket holder who donated money to the building of the facility in like 1980 has had the same seats forever. And if he wants to keep his seats that are now a club level seat, they tripled the price. They said you can keep your seats, but they're in the upper deck. Did we say he's 88? He's like, I can't walk up there. I can't even make it to the upper deck.
And the whole, hey, what about loyalty? And, you know, I mean, after I die, I understand if you know, raise the prices, you know, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, and the whole controversy started because he wrote a letter to the editor. Remember, he's 88. He reads the Knoxville paper every day.
And because of that, the Tennessean, Nashville's big paper, picked it up and did a huge story on it.
And
his tickets are going for like $1,600 a season, now $4,400 a season for the same seats.
Mark,
and they've bumped up ticket prices before where he sits, and they've let his stay at the same price because an old AT AD rather, promised him way back when he would have those seats for life.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they just weren't expecting him to make it until 88, David.
I think his reply should be simple. I'll pay the going rate when you make a Final Four. I'll hang up and listen. I think that's a fair response, don't you?
To a point.
He's been a season ticket holder since nearly 50 years, and he helped build the building.
And if he's been a season ticket holder that long, let me just ask you this in rebuttal, David. Why should he expect Tennessee to go to a Final Four? He's been watching long enough. He kind of knows who they are.
No. He knows they're not going to a Final Four, and that's why he's like, listen, you're not holding up your end of the deal, okay? So I'm not going to hold up mine. How's that sound? I'll make you a deal. I'll pay the going rate when you go to a Final Four. Deal? Hell, I'll even throw the lady vols in. How about that?
I'm actually stunned that it's gone this far, that some booster just didn't say, I got your tickets.
Right.
I'll take care of this. We've got plenty of reasons that we've looked bad in the past. I don't need another reason for us to look bad.
Jimmy Haslam, Peyton Manning. Here you go. Come on now. Throw a little money around, boys. Get some publicity.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I'm just piling on at this point.
Well, did you see my text?
Yes.
Now, I have no idea if they're also going to move it, where you can get it on ESPN, but maybe you also, if how you consume ESPN is through the app, that maybe you'll get Inside the NBA on the app as well. But if you consume Inside the NBA via cable, then you'll get it on ESPN instead of TNT. I do think Barkley made an interesting point, though, about how long is ESPN going to let us run?
Totally.
Barkley said, because a lot of our best moments are about 45 minutes into the post game.
You know, Pro Football Talk just did post that part of this was a multi-year extension of draft rights, too. What does the NFL Network do with their draft coverage? Does that go away now? Why would you produce two shows for the same thing?
I wouldn't. I'm wondering, do you work NFL Network personnel into your draft coverage? Do you have Rich Eisen host the draft on ABC, ESPN?
I would.
And will this be the end of Mel Kiper after his NFL rant about Shadur Sanders in the draft? Will all of a sudden Daniel Jeremiah be on ABC, ESPN's coverage of the draft? I wish they'd put more Schrager on the draft. I think Schrager.
I think Schrager's going to get a lot more airtime now.
I hope so. He's
and
really good.
Comtech, all that means now is that Summit Broadband is going to be paying ESPN instead of the NFL Network. It shouldn't change your viewer or how you get the red zone. What I don't believe it will change it one iota from the way I read it. And that's why I didn't mean to do it. David, I probably should have done that off air with David, but it was something that I thought was relevant. We've watched 2 movies in our house in the last week.
Nice.
That's 2 more than we've watched in the last 10 years. I fell asleep during last night's.
I don't think much longer, Sonny. I think the new deal starts next season. Yeah, but come on, DC. We talk about the main draft coverage. I mean, God, you guys nitpick us to death. I'm about ready to just take it off my screen. Damn. Ugh.
Conclave was the second movie, Deadstroke. You got to remember, we're a very Catholic household.
How'd that go over?
It was fine. It was just, I don't know how much detail they have of that's to what actually happens, but wonderful, Michael, wonderful. Went to Del Mar on 5th. They had good oysters from PEI. They were $2 an oyster on Tuesday. Had a bunch of other appetizers that were lovely, a couple of cocktails. Acted like I had money on 5th Avenue, so it was a good night.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Kevin Brockway to join us in a little more than 15 minutes. Gators practice underway. DJ Lagway a part of it. We'll talk to Kevin about how the top 20 Gators look. Preseason 17 in the coaches poll, figure to be roughly the same in the AP poll when it comes out Monday. Talk a little Tampa Bay Bucs at the top of the hour. Greg Auman. Just how necessary was the Teddy Bridgewater signing and how certain guys are looking. Seth Everett, about an hour and 15 minutes from now, we'll probably get more into the ESPN NFL deal, which was made official, at least both parties announcing it. It won't be official until the FCC approves it. And there's already growing sentiment to have the FCC not approve it. Okay.
So there.
Yeah.
So there. Text lines are wide open. Getting your opinions on this ESPN NFL merger, if you will, because the NFL is getting 10% of ESPN. David started the show out by asking all of you, what sport is it that ESPN has ruined? And you've been texting, you've been commenting, and I'm yet to see a sport. Shows.
Oh, yeah.
We get it.
Right. No, everyone sucks and every show sucks. Any of you dropped the 4-letter network, by the way?
And I believe some have with, there's definitely people out there that have when they've cut the cord.
Oh, yeah. No. But I mean, I just, like to hear from them, in which you had it, you were paying for it, and you made a calculated decision that, no, I'm not going to pay the 10, 12, 18, 20 bucks, whatever I was getting charged. Nope. Not going to do it anymore. Yep. And I lost all those games. College football, Monday Night Football, college basketball, all those college sports. Yep. I lost them all. Okay. Hey, I boycotted the NHL for a year. Trust me. Not only would I not
and the playoff. I mean, let's put a year including a playoff.
When my team went to the conference finals, by the way.
Oh, and was that hard for him? And it was great because I'm like, if you turn it on now, you turn coat.
Yep. And I didn't. Okay. And it was painful. It was a sacrifice. Okay. So trust me, I'll applaud you. I respect a good grudge. I respect people who draw the line in the sand about things. I do.
Speaking of which, time now for the coolest thing I've seen today, and it's brought to you by Air Advantage, myairadvantage.com. Online, myairadvantage.com, or call 239-433-4635. That's 433-4635. 18 months, no interest, no payments available. And this is a little bit of a grudge, and I think it's cool. I am turning into a fan of Sophie Cunningham from the WNBA because she got fined again.
Yeah.
She has been taking on the officials, not because a couple of things. One, by the way, WNBA fans, and I know how many of them are listening right now, let's get over throwing the dildos on the court. It was funny once. Now it's become a little stupid. But I give her credit because the fourth one was thrown on the floor. I guess 2 in the last 2 days. One nearly got to the floor. One nearly hit her. She retweeted or reposted her post saying, "Don't throw dildos on the floor," with "This didn't age well." So I give her credit for having a little bit of a sense of humor on it. But I love the fact that when they fined her the first time, she said, "Finding me $500 ain't going to do blank." So she went after him again, and they fined her $1,500. And she's like, "This is just the beginning." She even gave the little out that, look, I know the job's hard, but they've got to get better. And David, she's right. If this league is going to be taken seriously, the officiating has to get better. There was a game over the weekend where a body block was thrown to the head of another player, and it wasn't even called a flagrant foul. They are incredibly inconsistent. And if you're going to try to get the mainstream sports fan to watch this sport, you need to have better officiating.
If I was the WNBA, I would take a stand, though, against Sophie Cunningham and everybody railing against the officiating. And I would say, that's funny, because we've been sitting on the sidelines for 20, 30 years when you guys weren't paying attention to us. And all we've heard is you guys talk about the NBA and how soft it's gotten and how much you love the 80s and the 90s. Okay. Do you know how physical the NBA was in the 80s and the 90s? Maybe we want our league to look more like the league that you all said you love better than the current league. Think about that. Mic drop, walk away. I mean, come on. How much do we revere Parrish and Lambier? Parrish threw 3 punches. 3 punches. Was not ejected. Was given a personal foul. 3 punches at Lambeer. Not ejected from a conference final. And we love it. I'm telling you, if I was Engelhart, I think it's Kathy Engelhart, the commissioner of the WNBA, that's what I would say. I would go, it's funny. Okay, when you guys weren't paying attention to this league, okay, we were paying attention to everything you said about the NBA, and all you guys do is complain about load management and how soft the league is. Well, our ladies play, and we're a physical league. So now what don't you like about us? Mic drop.
Well, I like that she's taking them on and not backing down. And that's the coolest thing I've seen today. Brought to you by Air Advantage, myairadvantage.com.
By the way, with that said, and that's what I'd say is the commissioner, okay? Because you're better off in current day America just doubling and tripling down, okay? Behind the scenes, I'd go, our officiating's atrocious. We do have to make it better, though. I mean, it's embarrassingly bad. But everybody plays, and we are a more physical brand of basketball.
So I don't watch enough to have a great opinion one way or another, but I've seen enough inconsistencies on social media that I think she's onto something. And I'm glad that the whole point of why I think it's the coolest thing is that I like any athlete in any sport, when they make a stand, stick by it.
Right. She's like, trust me, you keep finding me. I actually think deep down the Indiana Fever are paying her fines.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no doubt in my mind that, the ball club's like, complain about it as much as you want. This way that the GM doesn't, the coach doesn't,
and Caitlin doesn't.
And Caitlin doesn't.
That's the key there. Whenever it is, she comes back. So a few people chiming in on the text line, David, of what sports they have ruined. And this one says baseball, specifically Sunday night baseball experience. Okay, I would just, I'd like you to follow up with me, because when I watch Sunday night baseball, and I do, the fact that they mic up players and talk to the players during the game is one of the things I really like about Sunday night baseball. Now, I don't know if if you're saying it because of a certain broadcaster, but what did they do to baseball to ruin it? Like, you like the Fox broadcast, but you won't watch the ESPN broadcast? Why? I'm incredibly curious. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm just curious. Based on your answer, there was not a lot of why there.
I mean, because if you think someone's ruined something, like if there's a new ownership of a restaurant and now you don't like the food, okay, you don't go there anymore. So, I mean, when you say that ESPN has ruined this, so are you telling us that you don't watch that anymore? Because otherwise, Mark and I get less enjoyment from most of the ESPN hockey play-by-play guys than we do when Turner's doing it. But we still watch. So they haven't ruined hockey. We just think they don't do it as well. Miller and Moulton. Kevin Brockway and the Gators. Are they finally back?
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Faro and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
DC, don't get me wrong. John Miller was. Listen, I wanted Boog Shambi to stay. I wanted Boog Shambi to do Sunday Night Baseball. I think he's much better than Ravitch. All right. They gave it to Ravitch because he's a lifelong ESPNer, and Shambi left ESPN to go do the Cubs. And I enjoyed Dan Schulman, but Dan Schulman walked away from it. He was tired of the travel, and he lives in Toronto, and he does the Jays games, and he wanted to stay with the Jays. I mean, Dan gave up an unbelievable gig. Sunday Night Baseball, and he was the radio voice of the World Series. And Dan Schulman walked away from it. Boog is good. And he looks like Mickey Lolich, too. He's an unmade bed, and he's fat.
David. Phil Steele says he's on our show at 8 a.m. this morning. He just tweeted it out. That would kind of put a hitch in our giddy up.
Yeah, it really would.
Kevin's on.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Millerandmoulton.com is where you go to sign up for our Fantasy Football Summit. It's Tuesday the 12th. Dinner starts at 6. It'll be a buffet. Drinks are free, the non-alcoholic kind.
There you go.
You got to pay for your own if you want the good stuff. All right. Dr. Roto will begin his presentation and answer all your questions and give you his cheat sheet beginning at 7 o'clock. Miller and Moulton will be there. Shoeless Joe's in Fort Myers, Bell Tower Shops. Go to millerandmoulton.com and sign up. Our poll question: will the Yankees make the playoffs? They're only in by half a game. Yay or nay? That is our poll question. Kevin Brockway is kind enough to join us right now. Been a little while. I mean, we gave him the summer without bothering him because, well, we bother him a lot during the football and basketball seasons. Covers the Gators, Gainesville Sun, the Gannett Network throughout the state of Florida. You can follow Kevin on X, Kevin Brockway G1, Kevin Brockway G1. Kevin, as always, hope you're well. Thanks for your time. You know we mean that. And seriously, heading to break, I asked the question, are the Gators back? You know a good Gators team when you see one on the field. Do the Gators look like they're back?
Well, I think you'd have to define back in terms of, what standard. I mean, I think that they'll be better, but, there are some question marks beginning with DJ Lagway's health. Now we saw him throw yesterday, and he looked, his arm strength looks good. I mean, I think the question now is going to be moving around with the calf situation. But receiver-wise, there's some talent. Running back-wise, there's plenty of talent. This is the best line of scrimmage team I've seen in 4 years under Billy Napier in terms of depth. So, yeah, it's getting there. But, certainly, the rest of the SEC, too, David, is no picnic. So, the schedule sets up to be another tough one. So, it'll be interesting to see how they navigate it.
Obviously, this team's going to go as far as Lagway takes them, but Napier's done a pretty good job recruiting, and it's time to cash in on that. Who are some new faces that we can expect some things from this year, Kevin?
Well, I'll tell you what, this kid, Dallas Wilson, the true freshman, is really opening some eyes. And he's got an SEC-ready body. He's about 6'2", 6'3", 213 pounds. Guy that, had 195 yards receiving in spring game. He's carried it over to the fall. I mean, he's a guy that could be playing right away as a true freshman here. Someone to watch. And I think on the defensive side, you're going to see, and J. Michael Sturdivant also, transfer receiver from UCLA, is another guy too that offensively that has a lot of promise. I mean, defensively, I think you're just going to see some younger guys emerge. Miles Graham is having a very good camp at linebacker. He's someone that, is going to continue to get better. And as you know, down in Southwest Florida, Ernest Graham's son, I think he's going to play a big role in the defense this year.
When I asked, are they back? I'm talking about, are they at least back to the level where they were under Jim McElwain? Now, granted, he took them to Atlanta twice, but I'm just talking about the roster, talent of the roster. Whereas the last few years, there have been times where they couldn't compete at the line of scrimmage, and defensively, they were just a mess. They weren't good enough. I mean, that's what I mean by, are they back? Are they good from a personnel standpoint?
Yeah, David, I think, 4 recruiting cycles, I think they started to put it together in terms of, being that competitive team, being a team that could, potentially beat anyone in the SEC. And I think you saw that in the second half of last season. What they did, obviously, winning 4 in a row to close it. And I think it starts up front. You take a look at, the front seven, you've got two preseason All-SEC guys and Tyreek Sapp and Caleb Banks. On the offensive line, you have two preseason All-SEC guys and Austin Barber at left tackle and Jake Slaughter at center, All-American. So I think it starts there. And obviously DJ Blagway is a budding star and a guy that was 6-1 as a starter last year. So I think the pieces are there for them to be a team that can beat anyone in the SEC. They just got to go out and do it on the field.
All right, what's this offense going to look like to you? Because obviously they lost a couple of key receivers, and you mentioned some replacements already. The running game brings a lot of players back. And more importantly than anything, you've talked now twice about the offensive line, and that's the biggest concern for, I think, anybody if you're really paying attention. But what's this offense going to look like? Because you understand as well as anyone, Kevin, people expect the Gators offense to look a certain way.
Yeah, and I think DJ Blagway brought that excitement, right? The ability to throw the ball downfield, 12 completions to 40 yards or more. The fans love that. But Billy Napier is still calling the plays. He tends to be, though, in general, a little more conservative, and complementary football, wants to establish a run and establish play action off that. So I think you will see certainly that, and they're going to try to take advantage of Jaden Bond, Jacoby Jackson as well. But Blagway, I think we'll get opportunities to kind of air it out in this offense a little bit, in play action. I don't know, again, because of the banged up nature of DJ Blagway, I don't know how much you're going to see him as that dual threat that, he was projected coming out of high school, in Willis, Texas. But I do know that when you have guys like Jaden Bond and Jacoby Jackson, you can run the ball pretty effectively with them, and they certainly feel good about what they do. Clark is another guy, true freshman, put on 21 pounds, kid from Tampa, is another running back that's opened some eyes in camp too.
Kevin Brockway covers the Gators, Gainesville Sun, the Gannett Network throughout the state of Florida. You can follow Kevin on X, Kevin Brockway G1, Kevin Brockway G1. Well, you said Blagway's arm strength looks pretty good coming off the shoulder injury. How's he moving? Obviously we're all closet doctors now when it comes to our sports figures. Calf injuries lead to Achilles injuries. And so when Gator fan heard calf injury, they panicked. How's he look?
Yeah, David, I think he looks okay, like I said, throwing the football, but I think that's the big question, as I alluded to earlier. We don't know if he's quite doing those 11-on-11 drills yet. And, if and when he starts that in fall camp, how is he going to move around? And like I said, the whole dual threat element of his game, he only rushed for 100 yards last year. Will we really ever see that this season? Or are they going to take a guarded approach with that, given how banged up he is? So I think, from what I've seen, he's still a little gimpy here and there. So I think that's going to be the process, but they feel good enough about him throwing the football at this point, at least. So that's a positive sign.
What's the biggest strength of this team, and what's the biggest weakness?
I think the offensive line, and the ability to run the football behind that offensive line, I would consider the biggest strength. I think there's some weaknesses probably in the secondary, maybe at defensive tackle too. Just the depth there, the ability to bring in different bodies and not have a drop-off. Billy Napier mentioned, the safety position in particular, behind Jordan Castell and behind Bryce Thornton. He doesn't feel very good there yet in terms of, and Drake Stubbs is a promising young freshman from the Jacksonville area. I think that, will improve over time, but there's still a lot of youth back there.
They're going to be able to get after a quarterback?
Oh, yeah. Dave, they had 39 sacks last year. It really turned the second half of the season. Caleb Banks and Tyreek Sapp, George Gums, you look at the sack numbers, they were pretty good. Gerald Chapman deserves a lot of credit coming in from Tulane. I think he's created a little bit more of a nasty streak on that defensive line, a little bit more of a sense of urgency. So I think those numbers will be there based on the personnel that they have coming back. LJ McRae is another guy that they're kind of waiting on. The kid from Daytona Beach is a top 10 national recruit. And Jaden Woods, true freshman also, is opening some eyes as well. Kid from Kansas has a lot of natural athletic ability. I think he showed up on Bruce Feldman's freak list, number 40, just in terms of some of the things he can do athletically. And, you look at him out there, and he's getting a lot of reps at the edge spot.
You mentioned DJ and the injury. Any other injuries we should be concerned with? Guys like Eugene Wilson, any other injuries right now in camp that you're concerned with?
Yeah, well, the Eugene thing popped up over the weekend. A little gimpy, kind of another calf issue. And so he was sidelined. Dijon Johnson, starting cornerback, another guy. Pop Howard, he's been dealing with something since the end of last season, linebacker. And, he's still not quite, he's still in a black jersey, not quite there yet. So I think those are some guys in terms of, starters that you have to keep an eye on, certainly. And, but they, like I said, they have some depth at linebacker. I think they expect, Miles Graham and Aaron Childs to take a step up. Jaden Robinson, a kid from Lake City also. So they feel pretty good about the linebacker room.
Is the swamp an issue at all? Like a year and a half ago, the future of the swamp was being discussed. Does it need hundreds of millions of repairs? Are we going to have to build a new one? Is that a thing still, or was that 12, 18 months ago?
Yeah, no, it cropped up again over the summer in terms of capacity and with the renovation, which, fans are not happy with. But, I think that there's going to be some, Scott Strickland revealed there's going to be some reduction in capacity due to, the renovations and making the stadium ADA compliant. So I think the reduction in capacity would be in, maybe the 5,000 to 10,000 range. They're trying to minimize as much as they can. But Strickland feels like the modernization of the building will, be a positive in terms of, the ability to, create kind of the creature comforts that, that certain fans like and reduce some of the maintenance issues that they're having in terms of the cost.
A basic preseason game to open the season and then a little stiffer competition in USF at home. What do you need to see in those two games to feel confident about this team going to Baton Rouge week 3?
Yeah, you need certainly DJ Lagway to progress a little bit. I don't think you need to see him for all 4 quarters, but you need to see him out there and move the offense a little bit. And you need to see, I think, that, the continued growth of the defense carrying over from last season. You want to see the defense be able to make plays, get after the quarterback, turn the ball over a little bit, which is what they did a better job of last season. I think those are some of the things you'd like to see going into Baton Rouge and have a little confidence going on the road in the SEC.
Kevin. I don't know why I said Greg. That's because our next guest is Greg. Kevin, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Okay.
No problem, guys. It's good to catch up as always.
Stay cool, and we'll call you. I don't know if we'll call you before the opener. I got to think they can handle LIU. Maybe we'll talk before South Florida.
It sounds good, guys.
Kevin Brockway covers the Gators, Gainesville Sun, the Gannett Network throughout the state of Florida. All right. You can follow him on X, Kevin Brockway G1, Kevin Brockway G1.
Gator fan, are you cautiously optimistic? Are you staying quiet right now, but a little more confident than you've been in a long time? I'm just curious the vibe of Gator fan right now, because we all know what you're like when it's going on. We get it. We know how badly you want it to be like that again. But right now at the beginning of August, what's your vibe towards this team? And how nervous are you that your quarterback isn't 100% healthy? Because it would scare the bejibbers out of me, especially where his injury is. That makes me nervous. But boy, oh boy, David, at LSU, at the Canes, a week off, home for Texas, at A&M. We're going to find out everything we need to know about this football team with those 4 games.
Well, let's see. Preseason SEC. Just take the Gators out because some people have them ranked in certain spots. So Texas, number 1, Georgia, number 2, LSU, 3 or 4. Some people have Bama ahead of them.
Right.
And then, some people have the Gators, some people have Tennessee, some people have A&M. Well, they play A&M and they play Tennessee, and they play 3 of the top 4. And, oh, by the way, they're at Miami, and they do have the Knowles rivalry at the end of the year. I think if the schedule wasn't the schedule, I think Gator fan would be all over us. By the way, okay, it is Greg Auman of Fox to talk to Tampa Bay Buccaneers next. There was a post out there on X that was saying Phil Steele was next. Phil Steele is 8 o'clock tomorrow.
He was so excited to come on this show. He wanted to do it 24 hours early. And we said, Phil, we love you, but we've got to talk the Bucs next. 24 hours from now, I'd be saying Phil Steele next, but it's Greg Auman next to talk the Bucs.
Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe is where your fantasy football draft should be. Free private rooms, Wi-Fi, plus food and drink specials. In August, Shoeless has bingo and trivia Tuesdays and Thursdays with your chance to win free wings and beer for a year. Fridays, live music on the deck. Saturdays, karaoke on the deck. Plus daily meal specials like Wednesdays, $6 wings and half-price pizza. Watch all your baseball and football at Shoeless Joe's, your home for good food, good times, and good sports in the Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Miller and Moulton are very grateful to you, the listeners, for making us one of the highest rated shows for men, because the working man is one of the toughest demos to reach, and we do. Great sponsors like Floor Meisters, American Paint Supplies, Glass Doctor, Sleep Treatment Direct, Game Day Men's Health, and Molly Maid recognize that, and we thank them. And if you own a business and working men are your clientele, the most cost-effective way to reach them is through us. Text Miller and Moulton at 21,000 or directly via X at that Mark Miller or the David.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I'll take the over on that right now, Michael. Dozen oysters, I'll take the over. Cold water oyster market, dozen oysters. I'll even do it at the bar for the cheap oysters between 4 and 6.
Because he knows you throw money around like manhole covers sometimes.
That's because I asked him to sponsor again. He said no, so I'm at least trying to get a dozen oysters out of him.
Yeah, Adam, I really don't want to see TJ Lagway hurt. I did really. I think the kid could be special.
We got like 5 texts rapid fire. 4 cautiously optimistic. One's like playoff contender this year, national champion contender next year.
Translation, he's feeling it.
But if DJ's healthy, I don't
Well, if DJ's healthy, are they a playoff contender? Yeah. I think they're an outside contender, but
I'm in. I'm in, Michael. We'll set it at 5.5. Done.
tell you what, life would get unpleasant again for Billy Napier.
Is it bad that I like Wednesdays because the specials for all the places I shop, and I mean grocery stores, come out on Wednesday? Oh, the pork, veal, beef, meatball mix is on sale at Mario's, everybody.
I love when Mark the Housewife comes out. Okay. Love it.
I love grocery shopping. I do.
I
love
you do.
everything about it.
I know you do.
I think he's calling right now, David.
Nope. It's a screw up on their end. I'm telling you, I got the emails.
I understand, but should I answer it and say, we have you tomorrow?
Yeah, okay. But you got to call Greg.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
We are halfway home on this hump day, at least in the 239 and the 904. Final hour of the show, Lake City, Live Oak and surrounding areas, Port Charlotte, Venice and surrounding areas, Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. The news began to break around this time yesterday that Teddy Bridgewater was going to unretire again, only this time he was going to sign with the Tampa Bay Bucs. Greg Auman covers the Bucs and the NFL for Fox Sports and foxsports.com. Follow Greg on X at Greg Auman, AUMAN. Greg, it's David and Mark. We appreciate you squeezing in 10 minutes for us. Where did this Teddy Bridgewater signing come from? Necessity or luxury?
No, I think it's for necessity, guys. Thanks for having me on this morning. It's one of those where it probably was more heightened last week when Baker Mayfield missed 2 practices, I should say. Had a bruise on his hand, kind of hit a helmet in practice, and it left him with only 2 quarterbacks in practice. Their number 3, or the guy who would be their number 3, is a second-year guy named Michael Pratt, who hasn't practiced at all this offseason. Not OTAs, not minicamp, not at all in camp, because of a lower back injury, and that hasn't gone away. So I had thought even a week ago, was asking Bowles, do you need to bring another quarterback in? Would it help things? Basically you don't want to overwork the guys you have, because then you're adding injuries as well. So I don't think this is an indictment on Kyle Trask. I think they said yesterday he's still their number 2. He's still their backup. I think they just want to add to their quarterback room. And it's, Teddy Bridgewater's a guy that's played a long time in the league, smart quarterback who has a lot of good connections on this team. Charlie Strong, who was his coach at Louisville, is the Bucs D-line coach. He and Levante David went to high school together, 15 years ago. The offensive coordinator, Josh Grizzard, was in Miami when Bridgewater was in Miami in 22. So there's just a lot of good, important people that can vouch for him in that building. He hasn't really had a meaningful snap since 22. Came into the end of last season. I think actually threw a pass in the playoffs for the Lions. But that was more of like an emergency type situation. No, it's one of those where he's 32 and gets a chance to, show if he can, do enough in the next 3 weeks to stick as a 3 and be on the 53. And I think makes him a smarter quarterback room. I don't know that it changes too much the overall depth chart as it relates to Mayfield or Trask.
All right. So that was our initial reaction, that this had a lot to do with Kyle Trask. And you're basically saying it just helps the quarterback room and doesn't change the depth chart. When you look at this team from a receiver standpoint, how deadly could they be? I mean, Evans is obviously to us a Hall of Famer. Godwin coming back is a very effective guy. And Ibuka coming on, I loved the draft pick there. This team offensively looks like they could be incredibly dangerous this year.
Yeah, they're loaded at receiver. And honestly, even when Godwin isn't ready yet, they still feel pretty stacked there. I think somebody had a ranking of NFL receivers 1 to 4 and had them maybe second behind Cincinnati, I think. And I think some would even argue that. But, you think about Evans and Godwin and what a solid 1-2 they've been for the last, 8 years. And then on top of that, Jalen McMillan, stepped up well, led the NFL in touchdowns the last 5 weeks of last season. And then you go that much more beyond that to Ademeka Ibuka, who's been absolutely the star of training camp and just, gotten really consistent high praise as kind of a Godwin clone, as someone that acts and holds himself with the same maturity and the same wisdom and can do a lot of the same things on the field.
Greg Auman, foxsports.com, joining us to talk about the Tampa Bay Bucs. By the way, Godwin going to make the opener?
If I had to guess right now, yes, no, I would say no. He's been at practice, has not done anything more strenuous than walking on and walking off the field. So you have hey, it doesn't look like a limp kind of thing, but beyond that, he's not running, he's not cutting. It's not to say he couldn't make a lot of progress the next 5 weeks. He and Tristan Wirfs are kind of on parallel. Will they be on the opener? Will they? They have what's called the PUP list, where if you haven't practiced at all, you can go on what's called the PUP list, and that means you don't count against the roster, but you have to miss the first 4 games. So I think the goal for both of them is to avoid that and to get to final cuts with enough progress that they want to keep the window open that you might play in those first 4 games, and they'll keep you on the roster and just have you inactive until you're ready to go.
When you look at their offensive line, obviously we know Wirfs is out 4 games. The depth is going to be challenged. How is the offensive line depth, and what are they going to do for those first 4 to replace Wirfs? Does Barton go to tackle? How do they work out this line to get through the first month of the season?
Yeah, the key is a guy named Charlie Heck, who they signed this year, kind of a veteran journeyman type, played with 2 teams last year, only had 2 starts last year. But he's the guy that will step in at left tackle. Dad played in the NFL, Dad coached in the NFL. He's huge. He's 6'8", so just a massive guy. But just obviously, anytime you're going from Tristan Wirfs to anyone else, there's going to be a drop-off. I think it helps the Bucs that they've had essentially 6 weeks to get ready for being without Wirfs at the start of the season, whether it's 1 game, whether it's 4. So they're putting pretty much all their eggs in the Charlie Heck basket. They had a look in practice the other day, as you mentioned, where their center, Graham Barton, who was a tackle in college, was the left tackle. Their left guard, Ben Bredesen, worked at center, as he has in the NFL. And they brought in a second-year guy named Elijah Klein at left guard. I think that's more the emergency break glass, something happened to Charlie Heck type answer right now. I don't think they want to move too many guys out of their natural chosen position if they don't have to.
They're going to be able to get a pass rush without being blitz crazy.
I think so. Todd Bowles still likes to blitz a lot. Adding Hassan Reddick is a huge help. Gave him a $14 million deal. Guy that was kind of absent last season, but if you look at 20 to 23, I think he had 52 sacks. One of the better pass rushers and fumble forcers in the NFL. They feel like he's going to add a lot. Just to have their front healthy, to have Vita Vea and Kalijah Cansey healthy at the start of the season, I think makes life easier for the end. Big year for Yaya Diaby. They lost their fourth-round draft pick, a rookie named David Walker, tore his ACL last week, so he's done for the season. But they're really hoping for a lot from Chris Braswell, who was their second-round pick a year ago out of Alabama, in line to kind of be their third pass rusher and a big part of the rotation.
Well, you're right, because I think they were -1 on turnovers last year. I mean, if that defense is going to improve, they've got to force turnovers, don't they?
It's absolutely the single most important area in this team. Glaring opportunities to get better. They had 7 interceptions as a team last year. There are guys that had 7 individually, so they need to get that number up, 15, 20, much higher. I think pressure on the quarterback is what creates opportunity throws and chances for deflections and picks and all those things. Hassan Reddick, I wrote about Hassan in 22 when the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, and he had almost like an MVP type year. I think he had 6 forced fumbles that year, in addition to 13 sacks. That's what they got to do. Hassan Reddick's one of those where it's not enough to get to the quarterback and put him on the ground. You have to get the ball loose for it to really be a big play. And that's the goal. And like you said, turnovers is absolutely where this defense can go from good or mediocre to great.
Greg, thanks for squeezing us in before your workday begins. We really appreciate it. Continue to stay cool in camp, and hopefully we can talk before the opener.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks again for having me.
Greg Auman, he covers the NFL, a focus on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for Fox and FoxSports.com. Follow him on X, Greg Auman, Auman.
If we were able, and we don't play music on the show because you got to have copyright when we put it on all of the different streaming services we have, I would have opened with "I'm No Angel" by Greg Auman.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, you cut me off there. I did have one more question. Does Greg Auman like the Allman Brothers? I mean, that's the question I needed to know.
We could do that next time.
Fantastic. Gotta say, right before that break, David, I kind of asked Gator fan what they're expecting. And the text line at 21,000 got flooded quickly. And most Gator fans their words are cautiously optimistic. They are very worried about DJ, and rightly so. One of them said, we've got to come out of those 3 games after the first 2 with 2 wins. That's the at Miami, at LSU, at Miami, home for Texas. I would say you throw at A&M in there and come out 2-2, and I think you're doing just fine. 3-1 would be a huge bonus. But after all of the cautiously optimistic, there was one texter that simply said, I expect them to be a playoff contender this year, and I expect them to be a national championship contender next year.
Yeah, that's the Gator fan we know and love.
Exactly.
Right
and they have been dormant for quite a few years now, and they are just chomping at the bit.
Itching to be back, baby. I've been keeping it on the inside for too long. Think about it. They beat Georgia in 2020. I've been keeping it in. This is year 5. Ugh. All right. I'll say it again. LSU, Miami, Texas, A&M. They go 2-2. Let's just say they lose the cocktail party again. They could win every other game on the schedule.
Yes.
They get Tennessee at home, Florida State at home. Okay. I mean,
not
that'd
only
be 9-3.
David, if they go 2-3 against those 5 teams, to me, not only can they win the remainder of their games, I think they should.
That's 9-3. I've said it. I'll pound the table that you should get in, even with it being a 12-teamer. I'll be banging the table for the Gators to get in at 9-3. Make history. Okay? We got to start taking the schedule into account.
I agree with that. I think it will be very tough. Let me ask you this. If they go 2-3 in those 5 games. But they lose to Texas, they lose to Georgia, and they lose to LSU. Explain to me their win that puts you in the position to put them in the postseason, because I don't see it.
They need Miami to beat Notre Dame, and then they've got to win it at Miami.
Right, and the scenario I have is them beating Miami. Yes,
right. Well, that's the argument for that's Florida saying the ACC is a one-bid league. I mean, it just is. Sorry, because the assumption is Clemson's going to win it. I mean, that's what the SEC would have to start arguing. Big 12 was a one-bid league last year. Okay, ACC needs to be a one-bid league this year. Our 4th, 5th, or 6th place team, wherever Florida is, okay, just beat if in fact Miami is their second best team, Mark. That's what I'm telling you, Gator fan. You got to root for the Canes. Week 1 against Notre Dame. You need them to be really good.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Phil Steele tomorrow at 8. Confirmed again. Long story behind that. Pat Kerwin Friday at 8. So there you have it. Phil and Pat both for 30 minutes. And we will do, with Phil tomorrow, we will do a 5-minute segment on Twitch/YouTube in between our two on-air segments. So if you've never checked us out on YouTube or Twitch, we will ask them. You'll submit questions and we'll ask them.
Except for Colorado questions. I will not allow a Colorado question tomorrow. I'm done. Hang on. Let me see where he hasn't picked in the Big 12 first. I may rescind that. Oh, yeah, he's got him picked 12th out of 16th. I take that back. Really need the show recorder to work because I did not start the recording that hour with everything that was going on. If it doesn't work, we could end up with a 2-segment podcast. And that would stink because that was a good interview.
Puck, there's an interesting phenomenon going on right now where a lot of the big in-state schools in a lot of states, Mark Lye's taking care of his mom in California. We've reached out to Mark quite a few times. Johnny Mac, he's busy, so it's a little too early for him. There are a lot of these big SEC schools are taking more and more people from out of state because it's more money.
But it has also raised the academic profile of so many of these schools. Like, because Alabama is probably never going to be a great university, but the grade point average to get into Alabama now is ridiculously higher than it was even a decade ago because of what David just talked about. All these out-of-state kids that want to go. You're not getting in unless you've got a really high GPA and decent test scores.
Clay Travis posted a thing about, listen, I grew up in Tennessee, and he goes, you could get into the University of Tennessee my whole life for a song. He goes, not anymore. They're taking like 39% from out of state because money, money, money.
And even like Michigan State, I would have probably still got in with my grades, but it's not easy. Any of those schools. So many more kids are going to college. It drove up the academic numbers everywhere in basically most Power 4 schools.
And by the way, that's all because of their success in college football. So when people talk about the impact of an athletic department,
yes,
okay,
yes, 100%, David.
That's all because, quite frankly, that's the 3:30 game on CBS for a long time too. That helped those schools immeasurably. And then obviously what they did in the playoff. Because they're getting all the kids in the Northeast to go to them now. Whole bunch of folks from Jersey and Pennsylvania going to Tennessee, Alabama, and what have you now.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Seth Everett, a little more than 15 minutes time. I'm sure we'll talk an awful lot about the acquisition of ESPN of a good chunk of the NFL's broadcast properties and the NFL getting 10% of ESPN, which is worth billions. That's coming up in a little more than 15 minutes time. If you missed our last two segments, Kevin Brockway talking Gators, Greg Auman talking Tampa Bay Bucs, go to millerandmoulton.com and download what you missed. And while you're there, sign up for our Fantasy Football Summit Tuesday night, the 12th. Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers. Buffet dinner begins at 6. The show begins at 7 with Dr. Roto, you, Miller and Moulton, and a whole bunch of good football talk. Great football talk, in fact. I encourage you, bring a notepad or at least a couple of pieces of paper and use that info for your fantasy draft coming up in the next couple of weeks and to set your rosters throughout the season. It'll make you money.
And a number 2 pencil. You better have a number 2 pencil.
Do people even have them anymore?
I don't know, David. Just the
I
way I didn't know if you were going to ask to bring a blue book in to write this stuff down. I don't know if you remember the blue books from college you had to walk through the exams on.
I do. Should I bring a couple stacks of my blue index cards down and just hand them out and go, here you go?
Good God.
Okay. No. Anyway, Seth Everett coming up on the American Paint Supplies hotline in 15 minutes time.
So, David, I'm going to revisit something.
All right.
You talked about it before the show began, but apparently the baby walking on the court made ABC World News tonight.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like something ABC would do. David Muir, he's a big softy. Yeah, that's got ABC World News Tonight written all over it. The kid winning the baby crawl by walking. Yep.
We've established your take on this. I am not going to revisit that. I am going to, however, revisit one part of this story that to me is far bigger than whether or not the baby should have been DQ'd. Was that indeed the baby's first steps?
No way.
Because many of you out there have been texting throughout the day yesterday, texting both David and I personally, and wondering. And people who I wouldn't think would go in that direction. People that, quite frankly, I see at church. And they're supposed to be people that believe things, are questioning whether or not this was the baby's first steps. There is nothing out there that says that the parents are lying. But many of you, including my co-host, believe that that baby walked before the weekend at the Las Vegas Aces Minnesota Lynx WNBA game.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. It's not the baby's first steps. It's a very simple question. Is there anyone listening, male, female, your kids, someone else's kids, a kid in the family? Is there anyone who has ever witnessed someone's first steps be more than like 5 before they fall? And then they get up and they 2, 3 more, boom. Oh my goodness, they're walking. That's amazing. I mean, come on, how many steps did this kid take?
Several. Dad said she'd been standing, but she hadn't been walking.
Please.
She just randomly decided to stand up in the middle of the court.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, was not expecting that.
Right. Right. Now, don't get me wrong. The kid might have walked 48 hours earlier. I'm just telling, there's no way it was the first time. Okay. He was at work and the kid went running around the living room with mom and mom didn't share it. I don't know. There's no way. I don't know of a single parent, grandparent, aunt, uncle, brother, sister listening right now. No one. I'm serious. Does anybody have a story of somebody's first steps being that many first steps?
I will say this, David. All I'm going to say to you on this story, not anybody else, but you. I'm talking to one person right now.
Okay.
Because I have watched you and listened to you for over 19 years get all over people because they don't believe this or they're judgmental on that. The fact that you, of all people, are coming down on the baby for walking and disputing the parents and basically calling the parents liars.
I'm not coming down on the baby at all.
You're coming down on the parents.
I'm definitely coming down on the parents. It was not the baby's first steps, and I'm just coming down on the Las Vegas Aces. Okay, it was a crawl race. Okay,
I get that. I get that.
Right. I'm serious. Anybody, and I mean it. Anybody, one person, your distant uncle in Montana. I'm serious. Does anybody seen or heard of a kid's first steps being that many in a row?
4 steps, hand went down, rebalanced, and then proceeded to finish the race walking. You want to DQ the kid? I get it. I am not disputing that these were the kid's first steps. I guess I'm just too damn gullible. I guess I just want to believe a nice story. And you are trying to bring me and everyone else down.
I'm just calling BS. Okay, I am. And by the way, this is Rich, you being the warm and fuzzy one and me being the Karen. It is. And so I'm really enjoying this too. Here's the deal. No kid knows to put their hand down and balance themselves. They fall. That's how they learn. And then the third, fourth, fifth time, maybe they learn to put their hand down. Okay, I'm telling you, either that, I want to know this kid's name. This kid's going to be a track and field star. If I'm running a major track and field program, I'm offering the kid a scholarship right now.
I would send the kid directly to gymnastics because the balance ability of this young child may be greater than other children out there. Mommy and me gymnastics should be all over this. But Babygate will not go away.
And I mean anybody. I'll take one example. All right, give me the truth. Do you know any child, you heard the story, someone in the family is saying, yeah, Tony took like 13 steps. He had never walked before. Something. No, kids take 2, 3, 4, and then they fall. Boom. They fall on the diaper. We all know the sound. Oh my goodness, she walked for the first time. Oh my goodness. No way. No way.
Texter, did your grandchild get beat and you're still upset? Texter, angry old man.
No, I'm not angry at all. I'm not. I don't care. I'm just saying, I'm calling BS. That's all. I don't believe the warm and fuzzy story. It's great video. I get running it, the whole deal. I'm just, A, you can't walk in a crawl contest, okay? But B, there's no way that was her first steps.
How long do you have to live the lie then if you're the parents? Can you ever come clean if on Saturday or Friday or whenever it was the baby took a step or two?
No.
You're locked for life on this now.
For life. You take it to your grave. You've got the video, crowds cheering, the whole deal, first trophy in the kid's bedroom. No, you take it to your grave. But it's BS and you know it. And you better hope you don't get divorced because it could come out in the proceedings.
Texter agrees. Definitely not first steps. First steps are 2, 3 steps followed by a diaper flop.
Right.
This one just says Grandpa Karen.
I know.
Sorry, Mark, on David's side with this one. This person says I actually came straight out of the womb walking, although there's no video proof. Seth Everett next. Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
Oh, they're both gone. I'm the captain now. And those are the players I told you did steroids, and I'm never telling you again.
You've done that too many times.
You know, that joke's really old.
It's an old.
Have you answered some of the stuff in the Twitch chat room here or YouTube chat room?
I have not seen, but I
Okay.
did steal the line from Captain Phillips and said, "I am the captain now."
It was asked of you, have you watched FF4 yet?
Yes, we did the review last week.
Okay.
It's good.
Uh,
Very good.
and did you see the baby crawl?
No.
Okay.
No. What baby?
At the Saturday night, I think it was Saturday or Sunday, WNBA game between Minnesota and Vegas. They had one of those intermission halftime 10 kids baby crawling. And a little more than halfway, one of the babies got up and walked the rest of the way. And they say it's the first steps of the baby. And
which you can call BS on that, but you know, how do you know?
Right. Well, David,
of course you're going to say that.
David's been calling BS for two. We've done a minimum of 2 segments on this. The comments, basically, my favorite comment yesterday. Who's her father? Danny Almonte.
Danny Almonte.
I just got a grumpy grandpa Karen. Okay, thrown at me.
Yeah. When I did the podcast with LaGreca, he asks me how I became a Devil fan.
Right.
And he had just told his whole story. And then he goes, "Oh." He goes, "You found them on the first day?" It's like, I'm not bragging. It's a true story. I don't know.
How about Stern, huh?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Our poll question: will the Yankees make the playoffs? They're only in by a half a game right now. They're 25-34 in their last 59. They got not one, but two teams within a game and a half of them. Will the Yankees make the playoffs, yay or nay? That is our poll question. And trust me, give it a few days, you can ask the same question of the Mets. All right. Seth Everett, Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice, two terrific podcasts. Kind enough to join us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. Follow Seth on X at Seth_Everett. We can
I have a
start
horse in that race because iHeart will ask me to cover those games if they make the playoffs.
I know that. Your thoughts? Do you think the Yankees hold on and make the playoffs?
I am not qualified. I have not seen enough of them to know
All right.
one way or the other. All I know is I listen to the panicked fans.
Right.
Speaking of, because I know you guys want to talk about something serious. Did you guys see the Eli Manning show when they spoofed the Mike Francesa bit from 10 years ago, where a guy called up Mike Francesa and said, hey, when the San Francisco Giants, who used to be the New York Giants, come to New York, do the Giants and the Giants get together? And so Mike Francesa in this skit walks in on a room, and it's Eli Manning, Sean O'Hara, and Logan Webb of the San Francisco Giants having a meal. And Eli Manning goes, hey, next year we could have a picnic. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And it was a spoof. This guy was trolling Mike Francesa. Do the San Francisco Giants and the New York Giants ever hang out? And they do on this show.
Well, that's all right. Some list came out yesterday which said that Eli Manning is the most overrated player in the history of the NFL. Namath was second. Aikman was like sixth. Bradshaw's on the list. Okay. I mean, there's 10 Super Bowl rings between the quarterbacks on the list and 6 Super Bowl MVPs. And Eli, to show you his sense of humor, okay, retweets it and says, it's good to be number one at anything.
Number one at something. Yeah.
Oh.
Good for him. Seth, we've talked about it a lot today. It's now official. It's been news for a while. We knew it was coming, but ESPN acquiring the rights of the NFL Network, more importantly, the Red Zone.
Yeah.
And people are panicking. I mean, listeners are panicking. Even this wrestling deal that was announced this morning of them controlling the pay-per-view, we're getting personal texts of people just freaking out. Do you want to calm them down, or do you want to throw gasoline on the fire of what the future of the Red Zone could look like?
Well, I'll play Switzerland. I think for this season, the NFL is going to run the Red Zone just the way they have. It's a standalone product. It starts at 1 o'clock and it ends when the last game ends. It's a distributed thing. I mean, the Red Zone had been distributed in so many non-traditional ways. If you go on to United flights, you could get the Red Zone. If you went to certain sports bars, you could get the Red Zone. Now, the Red Zone channel is going to be more available. And as a consumer, I'm telling you, this is a massive deal in my house. I think this is going to make me drop Hulu Live, because Hulu Live was the only way to get Red Zone. And now I can get Red Zone through this ESPN app, and it's half the money. And so from the consumer standpoint, it just means the Red Zone will be more effective. Now, does that mean that in future seasons, some, genius over there in Bristol doesn't try to tinker with that and try to take the Red Zone and make it better? I don't think that happens in the 2025 season. It's just too soon.
Well, the deal is pending FCC approval because the NFL is getting 10% of ESPN in the deal, and that could take a long time. So I don't know if it's going to affect this year really in any way. To me, this begins in the 2026 season. I just
hold on. The Red Zone and NFL Network will be available when that streaming service launches on the 21st of September or whatever, or 21st of August, whatever the date that they announced. Those things are going to be available. ESPN running it is a different story.
Well, let me just read you the joint statement. And by the way, it would be spectacular if ESPN can get their logo on things and then the deal ultimately gets nixed. Okay. It'd be like the product that was out there, and, we all have examples of it, and then it never existed much longer. But okay. According to the joint statement, ESPN will own broad rights to Red Zone, including the trademark, and will continue to distribute the channel to pay TV operators. The NFL will continue to own, operate, and produce the Red Zone channel, and will keep the rights to distribute it digitally.
Mm-hmm. That's now. What I'm saying is, as time goes on, that's to Mark's question, was how much are they going to ESPNify the Red Zone? And initially, not at all. But that's not to say that down the road, that thing doesn't evolve. Scott Hansen, by the way, who I adore and I'm a huge fan of, he's been talking to NBC. He just re-upped with the NFL, but he had been talking to NBC. Does this deal change now? And is he not allowed to do the Olympics, or will he be allowed to do the Olympics? It's kind of, you don't have ESPN people on the Olympic coverage and vice versa. So it's just kind of odd. And I guess Rich Eisen, you have to go home again, right? Because Rich Eisen now gets inherited by ESPN. Yeah.
Well, but that was the radio part of that was already happening, and I think
not the Rich Eisen show. I'm talking about just Rich Eisen's play-by-play and Rich Eisen's as a talent. He'll be on ESPN now.
Probably, the draft. I mean, the draft. One of the things that's not being talked about, and David and I talked about it a little bit, is the NFL draft. Because if you just made this acquisition, if you're ESPN, why would you want draft coverage on your network along with ABC and the NFL network? It doesn't seem to make sense.
Finally get one
two shows.
Right. Yeah, get one streamlined show. Yeah. From the consumer standpoint, it cannot be bad. There's nothing bad about this. And what this does is it changes hands. It makes ESPN have a serious interest in the NFL going forward. Because of their partnership, there will always be NFL games on ESPN, and in a crowded space, that's a priority of ESPN. Notice they're not doing that for the NBA. They're not doing that for Major League Baseball. They're doing it for the one sport that they really want.
So you don't see a scenario, with cord cutters or what have you, in which they now will be paying more for the Red Zone or for, I don't know, even NFL Network.
They haven't announced prices. They haven't announced prices for this year, but for me, it was $9.99 a month, and that's what I anticipate that it'll be.
No. This is going to go there for you, Seth. I think you're wrong. They're direct to consumer. They've already said it's $30.
No. Fine, but if you pay the $30, do you get Red Zone?
Yes.
See what I have is I pay $70 for Hulu Live, and I don't want to anymore. And then it was $9.99 every month for the Red Zone in addition to. If that's getting wiped out and it's $30 for that standalone app, and I can get my Cuse games and I don't have to think about any of the other stuff, and I can get that Red Zone, I'm in. Sign me up. Because again, that is less than 50% of what I pay now.
Well. And
I think it's better for the consumer. I really do.
Well, and one of the things that Mark brought up, and I don't know if it was on air or the two of us just kicking it around, is ESPN Plus going to be part of this $29.99 app? Because then you get all the college hoops, but you also get all the hockey. I mean,
All
Seth,
the out of market
you
hockey.
have,
Yeah.
right, you have screamed for years about you're a fan of a team that's like the third priority of a regional cable channel,
Yeah.
and you can't get so many games. And
Yep.
that's what Mark and I are wondering, is quote unquote ESPN Plus going to go away, or is that also going to remain a separate $10.99 a month entity?
Right, because ESPN Plus, to me, is fascinating for the deals, the small deals that it has with things like the ACC, for example. Any ACC school that wants to produce a non-revenue sport and have the students call the game and have the students produce it, they put it on ESPN Plus. Is that going to be on that standalone service? It would behoove ESPN to just have one thing and try to target people. If you're telling me that instead of having ESPN Plus, which to me was lopped into my Hulu bundle nonsense thing, if you're telling me pay $29.99 for this ESPN app and I get the red zone and I don't have to have Hulu Live, I'm telling you, that's a game changer for me.
The only way, Seth, that I see it being a problem, I have my ESPN Plus Hulu, not Hulu Live, but ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus, really all through my phone service. It was an add-on for the phone service, and I pay $15 a month for it. If I'm ESPN, to me, that goes away. I'm not giving you Plus in that whole package for $15. You want ESPN Plus? It's $30 a month. And I wonder if that will hurt them for all of the people that have bundled those three together and now are being told by ESPN, that was great, but you're not getting that anymore.
Well, today's their earnings call. I mean, from what I understand, it's already started. They have to announce something like that because that you're not the only one. Like that's a major thing that people have. That's how people were getting ESPN. And with college football, 3 weeks away, people need to know how they're getting their games. And you have to make this easy. So to me, it's just easy. You just throw everything into this standalone app. If you want to raise prices of that bundle because you're getting more for that money, again, as long as you're not wasting money. To me, that's what a consumer in this media world is. I'll pay for something, but I want it to be good. Get me something good and bring it on.
So last night, ESPN and the NFL making this deal official. This morning, ESPN announcing that they will be the ones now streaming WrestleMania and other major WWE offerings in a 5-year, $1.6 billion deal. That's $320 million a year, which we commented, a couple of puckheads here, is almost as much as they pay the NHL for all of their games. But, you know, I believe all of these offerings were on Peacock. And,
yeah.
Right. And
It's
so,
different, yeah.
right. And so there's another one. Is this all included in the $29.99? Is this going to be a standalone? You know, if so,
Well, that's the
how
thing.
much?
I don't think this standalone. The marketing of this standalone is it's all encompassing, so it should have everything. If I want to watch one of those classic Requiem for a Big East, I should have that standalone app. That it should be. How can I play this for you? Can I play it on your iPad? Can I play it on your TV? Like that's what I want that app to do. I want a Jeeves with the app.
Well,
by the way, did you know wrestling was fake?
Except the injuries.
Right. And that baby, I'm
in that case,
right.
it's like,
that was the baby's first steps. I'm standing by it no matter what anyone says. Sports with Friends Hall of Justice. What do you got, Seth?
A guy that I've known for 25 years, and I saw the Devils win the Stanley Cup in 2003 with. We were standing next to each other in the Meadowlands. My boy just got named the new television voice of the Devils, so it was just a matter of time before I got Don LaGreca back on the podcast. He had done an episode 3 years ago, and everything we say in that episode is outdated. He's not on the Michael Kay show anymore. He's not on the Rangers anymore. He is the guy on the Devils, and I'm thrilled for him. I'm really bummed for Bill Spalding, who I thought did a great job. But Don LaGreca is my guy, and that's Sports with Friends. It was just a matter of when we could get our schedules in sync for that. As far as Hall of Justice, oh, yes, there's a new Disney Marvel show. It's called Eyes of
Disney Marvel show.
I know, right?
Shocking.
It's called Eyes of Wakanda, and this young woman plays Iron Fist in that show. Her name is Jonah Shao. She was born in China, but she grew up. She came to America as an infant. She's a voice actor. She's been in The Flash. She's been in Two Broke Girls. She's been in a bunch of shows. She's my guest this week, and we talk about Eyes of Wakanda, which she is a voice actor on.
Have you already done the interview?
Yes.
Oh, because I was going to have you ask her, okay, that what her parents told her about her first steps and how many did she take and what have you.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
It's an ongoing theme on the show. Seth Everett, Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. Follow him on X at Seth_Everett. Hey, buddy, thanks for your time. Be well.
You got it, guys. Go Gunners today.
Go Gunners.
That's the Arsenal game, 1 o'clock.
Of course.
You know where I'll be.
Yep.
Where can we find that today, Seth?
You just go to arsenal.com. My password is Jor-El. You know, Superman's father on the planet Krypton.
Right.
Yeah, got
Wow.
that.
That's a Seinfeld reference.
The Eye of Fatima or something like that on the podcast. Miller and Moulton. The bonus hour is coming next. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Shoeless Joe Sports Cafe is where your fantasy football draft should be. Free private rooms, Wi-Fi, plus food and drink specials. In August, Shoeless has bingo and trivia Tuesdays and Thursdays with your chance to win free wings and beer for a year. Fridays, live music on the deck. Saturdays, karaoke on the deck. Plus daily meal specials like Wednesdays, $6 wings and half-price pizza. Watch all your baseball and football at Shoeless Joe's, your home for good food, good times, and good sports in the Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for
For over
details.
50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Eagles because I think most of us would just naturally take the field. Because, I mean, how many times does it happen? Packers, Dolphins, Steelers. Steelers again, but Niners, Cowboys, Broncos, Patriots, Chiefs. I mean, isn't it 9 times? Better teams gone back to back. Am I missing one? I got to admit to the wrestling fans in the chat room. I mean, come on, you know what people mean. Okay. They just mean that the final score is fake. That's what they mean. Obviously, the performance is real. I mean, it's obvious, just like a play. The performance is real. It's scripted. I mean, that's what, when people say that, come on, you guys know that's what they're meaning. I mean, come on. I mean, wrestling is what it is. It's entertainment. It's really good entertainment, but it's entertainment. That's what they mean. And just, I gotta lighten up.
Well, people are going to be ticked off because the Greg Auman interview is gone.
Oh, well.
I can't pull it up. The show thing's not working, which isn't much of a surprise, but I had 2 phone lines going with the Phil Still thing. I was kind of freaking out, so that's on me.
No, it was Phil's fault.
Well, no, it's on me for not hitting record. It's not on Phil. I screwed up. I apologize.
Counter relief. That's interesting, though. You would take the Eagles to repeat instead of the field. I mean, they're going to knock on that door pretty hard.
Better shot, Eagles repeating as Super Bowl champs or someone else winning the NFC East?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the bonus hour on this hump day. Thanks for being with us. 17 days away from week 0, 22 days away from the week 1 weekend beginning, and 29 days away from the Eagles hosting the Cowboys to kick off the NFL season. 17, 22, and 29 are your football magic numbers. Meanwhile, 6 is our magic number. 6 days until the Fantasy Football Summit. It's on Tuesday the 12th. It'll be in Fort Myers, Shoeless Joe's restaurant. Actually, we'll be down the hall from it in our own private room because a few of you have signed up, and that's good. MillerandMoulton.com. Sign up for it. Buffet dinner begins at 6. Event begins at 7 with Dr. Roto, Miller and Moulton, and you. Sign up at MillerandMoulton.com. We really look forward to seeing you there.
We got a Jimmy Buffett style dinner?
Yeah.
Nice. You love a buffet, don't you?
Damn right. Damn right. Yeah. I'm into as much as you can eat as possible. Yeah. And I'm not embarrassed. I don't embarrass these. I have no problem. Okay. No, I'm putting a load of potatoes on my thing. And when I finish them, I'm going up for more. Okay. I may cut down on the portion size the second and third and fourth time I go up. But no, the first time, that plate is stacked.
Yeah, I don't like a buffet nearly as much as I did at another time, like a long time ago. They kind of at some places weird me out. That many people grabbing, touching, breathing on food that I'm going to eat doesn't do it for me. The one exception I have is if it's an all-you-can-eat prime rib buffet, because I do love it too, because the guy slicing the meat tries to be cute, and he's going like a quarter inch. And he finishes that slice, and I just stand there with my plate. Like, you can keep going now.
Yeah. It's
either like come back every 5 minutes or put some meat on the damn plate.
Right. I mean, you don't want to see me. I don't want to see you. So, let's show more of it here every time. So anyway, that's how we're going to roll in 6 days. MillerandMoulton.com. Sign up. Dr. Roto, the Fantasy Football Summit. Hope to see you there.
Talked a lot of football today. We will talk even more tomorrow. Phil Steele will be on the program at 8 a.m. He is well aware of the time that he will be on the show. He thought it was today because he grabbed the wrong stack of papers.
But even he now acknowledges, oh, yeah, that's right. It's tomorrow at 8. Yes, it is, Phil. Yes, it is. For a half an hour, which means we'll do a 5-minute segment live on Twitch/YouTube in between our two over-the-air, if you will, radio segments. So 30 minutes with Phil Steele beginning at 8 o'clock tomorrow, 30 minutes with Pat Kerwin beginning at 8 o'clock on Friday, and his training camp tours. I know he was in West Virginia for the Texans.
Yeah, he was at Texans yesterday, Atlanta today. Happened to catch a little bit of his show yesterday, and to be honest, he's all over the map with the time of the show. There's no way of figuring out. A lot of noon to twos for Pat during these training camps, but I couldn't tell you exactly when he's going to be on. I just know by the time we get him tomorrow, he will be ready to go home.
In fact, I think we're going to get him at one of his homes doing laundry. I think we get him on laundry day. I think he will have been gone like 12 days, and we'll have him. For laundry day, we'll have to remind him what city. He'll be like a rocker, Mark, I think, tomorrow. We'll have to remind him what city he's in, where he's been, and where he's going. But that's Pat Kerwin Friday at 8, Phil Steele tomorrow at 8. Our poll question, we joked about it for 2 days. After the Marlins swept the Yankees, we said, hey, do you think we should ask, are the Yankees even going to make the playoffs? And then the Texas won game 1 when the Yankees were an out away from winning it. And they gave up a homer to a guy hitting a $126 and then lost in extras. And we go, man, that's a tough loss for the Yankees. This is getting tight. Well, then they got beat 2-0 last night. Had 2 hits. Judge came back and everything. And they lost. Their lead to make the playoffs is a half a game. They're 9 games below 500 since like early June. So we're asking the damn question. Are the Yankees going to make the damn playoffs?
They better get today. Rodon's on the mound. They got to get a game here. I mean, this is a losing streak. This is beyond a skid. They need to stop the bleeding now. And their bullpen seemingly can't get an out when they need one. Yesterday, they lose 2 spit. I mean, good pitching game, but unfortunately, Williams can't get anybody out. They give up 2, lose that one, and the bats go cold. I mean, they hit the ball, they lose 13-12 to the Marlins. They don't hit the ball, they're losing close games, 2-0. So right now, nothing going right for the Yanks. And 51% of you say they will make the playoffs. It is a tight vote. Wow. Miller and Moulton, for the record, both said somehow, some way, they get their way into the playoffs.
I mean, it's just difficult to imagine them missing, right? I mean, how many times have they missed the playoffs since the strike? I mean, they haven't had a losing season since before the strike. For those that don't know, the strike was 94. 94. I mean, seriously, they've not had a losing season in well over 30 years. And I think they've only missed the playoffs twice. I mean, Girardi's first year as manager, they missed the playoffs. And I think, didn't Boone miss it once? But I mean, seriously, 30 plus years, they made the playoffs damn near every year. But they're vulnerable right now. They are.
But the Rays, I mean, by our own rules, we can't even talk about the Tampa Bay Rays. They are now 3 games below 500. That's with the Rays winning yesterday. The Marlins got themselves to 500 with that little sweep of the Yankees. Well, the Astros were swept by the Red Sox and came in to South Florida and said enough is enough. And they have pounded the Marlins on back-to-back nights. A virtual must-win to me for the Marlins today. If they want to stay in this hunt, because they go on a road trip after this game, 12 in a row or 13 in a row on the road, David?
11 in a row in 11 days. Okay, because they have a 5-game series in Atlanta, which includes a makeup doubleheader.
But it seems like the division's going a little bit deeper in the National League, because right now the Giants won yesterday to get back to 500. They're 6 back. The Reds are the only team above 500 not in the playoffs in the National League. They're 3 back of the Padres.
And the Mets. The Mets are reeling after winning 7 in a row. They've lost 7 of 8. The Mets have big starting pitching problems, and the bottom half of their lineup can't hit a lick. The Mets are in trouble. So the Reds, Mark, have 2 teams. Like, I don't think the Reds can pass the Padres. I do think the Reds can pass the Mets. The Mets are flawed. The Mets have issues.
So we'll see. But in the American League, as we mentioned, it's not just the Rangers who are a half game back, but the Guardians have been playing good baseball. They sold a few players, still managing to win. They've still got pretty good pitching, and they're only a game and a half behind the Yankees.
Are the Guardians going to be the Tigers of this year? The team that actually sold a few parts? Their closer gets suspended, and they've done virtually nothing but win since. I mean, it does, and now Cleveland's doing it on the road, beating a quote-unquote good team in the Mets. I mean, it's not like they're just beating up on the AL Central here. So,
and
anyway.
Are the Tigers able to hold on? It's 7 that they're ahead of the Guardians by right now. The Tigers came back from much further than that last year to get into the wild card race. Will they blow a 7-game divisional lead? They've been one of the best teams in baseball all year long, but not since the All-Star break. They've been lousy.
Well, Mark, I've already given them the division. I mean, this wasn't Vandeveld on 18 and 99, in which they were doing the soft imprint into the claret jug. I mean, I got the X next to them. I've already given them the banner for them to, unveil when they're hosting a playoff game.
And can the red-hot Red Sox catch Toronto? It was just a while ago that the Red Sox weren't even a playoff team, David. Now they're the 4 seed, and they're only 3 back of the Jays.
I love this story so much. The Red Sox fan base hates their owner now. It's as if they've forgotten that he's the guy at which they've won 4 World Series with. Remember when they would have given years off their life for 1? Well, John Henry can't suck enough now, even though they've delivered 4 World Series titles. Hates the manager, even though he helped deliver them a World Series. They're tired of them. They want somebody new. and they hate Craig Breslow in his first year as GM, and they think he's just a flippin' moron. And he got schooled at the trade deadline, and he got schooled in the Devers deal, and he sucks. And they're sick and tired of everyone and everything having to do with the face of the franchise except the players. And the players are just doing nothing but winning.
Nothing but winning.
The fan base is so angry at the executives and the manager and the GM and the owner, and the team is playing their off.
I mean, they've got the fourth best record in the American League. They're only a half game behind the Astros, a game behind the 2 games behind the Tigers, and 3 games behind the Jays. So they can look at this and go, we can be a 1 seed in the American League. They're not that far back, David.
And they were given D's and F's by their performance at the trade deadline.
Exactly.
Right? I listened to MLB Network Radio and had heard 2 former general managers talking about how Craig Breslow got schooled and he's not doing a good job. I don't know. They haven't lost since. And the Milwaukee Brewers are the best team in baseball.
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from that fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So I'm curious for all of you, Estero and Venetians. They're opening that new ale house in a couple of weeks on 41. I don't see how it does well. And it's not a knock against the ale house. And obviously very smart people open restaurants. I get it. But everything that's been put in that Coconut Point Mall, most restaurants have failed. I mean, Ruth's Chris makes it. It's Ruth's Chris, for crying out loud. The other restaurants, Bo Campers died. I mean, everything in there has died. And they're opening right next to that. I don't know if there's enough people around. I really, really wonder about that. I have not Canada Relief. Yeah, but Logic Man, if you want to go to the ale house, there's one in Gulf Coast Town Center. It's 4 miles away from the other one. I don't get it. And every bar has a good beer selection now. Yeah, they do great on Sundays for football. I get that, but maybe they take down Rusty's, but Rusty's lives off of the mobile home park and the 2 neighborhoods that are right around it.
By the way, ESPN PR is saying that their direct-to-consumer service and enhanced app is going to launch 2 weeks tomorrow.
Yeah.
August 21. Okay.
Yep. Found out yesterday, apparently, I did not know Bissonnette played for the Saginaw Spirit OHL team, my hometown. He went to my high school when he was billeting there. My kid texted me. He's like, "Where'd you go to school?" "High school." And I texted back. He goes, "That's where Biz went." I'm like, wow. Now I got to try to get him on. That we have that in common, right, David? And he's an East Coast League guy. Played in the Wheel.
Right? Ooh, wow. Does that mean Josh Pate left CBS in 24/7? He's partnered with
On 3. It happened
Rivals?
yesterday, yeah.
Wow. That's a big loss for CBS. That's dumb. I think he's excellent.
Did we ever have Mick Hubert on? I thought we had him on once, David, but I could be wrong. Back.
We had him on a couple times.
Yeah, I thought we had him on before.
We actually had Mick Hubert and Eli Gold on together.
That's right.
And they both enjoyed it.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. We thank you for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Phil Steele, 8 o'clock tomorrow. Pat Kerwin, 8 o'clock on Friday. As the football countdown is on. And the countdown to our Fantasy Football Summit is 6 days. Join us, Shula Show Sports Cafe in the Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers, Tuesday the 12th. Sign up. Only way to do so is millerandmoulton.com. Buffet dinner begins at 6. Event begins at 7. You'll be out of there by 9. I can all but guarantee it. millerandmoulton.com. Hope to see you on Tuesday the 12th in Fort Myers.
By the way, David, I'm seeing more news now with this NFL Network, Red Zone, ESPN collaboration, is that there will be no more Monday Night Football doubleheaders. I think that's something that the football fan will be very happy about.
I think Joe Troy and their supporting staff will be very happy about it too. I mean, why divvy up your audience in any way, shape, or form? We want as many people watching as possible.
I agree. And even Scott Hansen posted on X that I'm going nowhere. I will be hosting the Red Zone for the 2025 season. Now, beyond that, we don't know, but he just signed a new deal, 3-year deal, right, David?
Yeah, I believe it was 3 years, and he signed it with the NFL. By the way, I give him some kudos because he had a stare down with the NFL and won it. The NFL. I mean, that's who still owns and operates the Red Zone. And so that's who he was negotiating with. And it's not like there weren't options that they could replace him with. I mean, you'd all be bummed and what have you for what? An hour? I mean, are you really? Oh, there's no more Scott Hansen? I ain't getting Red Zone. Come on.
Exactly. I mean, were any of you that were DirecTV consumers before Sunday Ticket moved to YouTube, and on DirecTV, Siciliano was the host.
Right.
Cable people, Hansen was the host. They had 2 separate shows doing the same exact thing. Did you quit watching the Red Zone because Siciliano wasn't hosting the show you watched anymore?
No, because you're buying the product, not buying it for the host. And he won his negotiation, and he was open about it, which I didn't know if that was the smartest thing. Don't know if I'd brag about staring down the NFL and coming out okay. I might just be thankful I still have the gig.
By the way, Seth Everett just texting us during the break. He was just on the show, but sending some news that Hulu to shut down in the U.S. and it will combine with Disney Plus. So for those of you, as we were talking about, that have that Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus bundle, Hulu and Disney Plus are now one and the same. Does that mean that bundle at some point will no longer include ESPN Plus because they're going to force you to go the direct-to-consumer route to get your ESPN Plus, and instead of $10.99 a month, it's going to be $29.99 a month? That's, in seeing that, that's the only thing I'm thinking about. There's no news on it. It's just me speculating. But I wonder what happens to those of us who have bundled our ESPN Plus over the years, because we're, a couple weeks away from ESPN launching their direct-to-consumer app, right?
2 weeks tomorrow, the 21st. So it'll get launched in time for not just college football, not just the NFL, but also for those of you who are big U.S. Open tennis fans. Okay, then it'll be available for the whole 2-week plus tournament. So, yep. By the way, something we have not discussed today, I think because it's tough for us to take him seriously at this point, but we probably should, Mark, for 4+ minutes, treat him as if he's a serious person. Did you catch what Jera said yesterday?
I did about Micah Parsons. Was asked if Micah will be there week 1, and he basically said, not confident that he'll be there week 1.
Right. Not confident. Man,
okay.
Oh man. Not only that, for a legendary businessman, and he is a legendary businessman. I mean, that's why he's in the Hall of Fame, because his way of doing business, the rest of the NFL realized, oh, wow, we'd make a lot more money if we did business Jera's way. And he's made them a lot more money. And that's why they put him in the Hall of Fame. But for a brilliant business person, the way he negotiates these contracts seem pretty idiotic. And he ends up having to pay the full price and then some at the last minute and creates no cap room for his team. And this whole Micah thing, I mean, Mark, can they replace him?
No.
Okay. What are we doing?
Well, and by all accounts, this has become very personal. Allegedly, or not even allegedly, that Parsons sat down with Jarrah and Stephen Jones a while back, and they came to an agreement of some sort.
That's what Jarrah thinks.
To make Micah the highest paid non-quarterback, and then after that, players signed for more than that, and Jarrah thought he had his original deal. Well, then, Jarrah, you should have got the man to sign the piece of paper in March.
Well, and Micah's not denying that. Yeah, I talked with just the two of them, and yeah, we kind of laid out a framework of things. And then I got up from the table, shook his hand, and said, now call my agent and let's put this down on paper and let's make a deal. And apparently Jerry's never called the guy because he thought he had a deal with Micah. And Micah's like, well, we didn't have a deal, but we discussed the parameters and what we were both thinking. And I literally got up. I felt great about it, shook their hand and said, well, call my agent and let's get this done. And Jerry's operating like, well, I ain't talking to his agent. We shook on it. And Micah's like, no, I shook his hand out of respect when I was leaving the room. And here's the other thing, Jerry. Even if Micah shook it, let's just say your story's right. It's meaningless. So he looked you in the eyes and said, we've got a deal, and shook the hand and walked out of the room. Come on, it's the National Football League.
Well, no, but if that happened, then it's all on Jarrah. If that's the case, then get the paperwork to the agent. And I'm being serious here. ASAP. In the next couple of, you walk out of that meeting, you get that paperwork to the agent, and you get that deal done. Right. You don't wait around like he always does until August and then overpays everyone. Did he overpay Dak by waiting? Yes. Did he overpay CD Lamb by waiting? Yes. I don't get it. He is so defiant and also so adamant that this team wins again, and yet he does nothing to help them do that.
How many playoff wins this century? 4? 2 with Romo, 2 with Dak. This century. 4 playoff wins. Mark Sanchez had that many with the Jets, and everybody mocks him. He did that in 2 years.
Miller and Moulton. Today was the day when the good, the bad, and the ugly, and what's on tap, it all lies ahead right here. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for
Mark
details.
Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Defining a new era in men's health. Get stronger and healthier at Game Day Men's Health. With our in-house laboratory, get in, get treated, and get back to your passion and purpose. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs or Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for a 10% discount on your service. Start living your best with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples. Call 239-427-3441 today.
This is Miller and Moulton.
What state in the continental 48 that you haven't visited would you most like to visit?
What was that again?
What state in the continental 48 that you haven't visited would you most like to visit? Unless you've been to all 48. I'm between Montana and Colorado because I've never been to Colorado.
You should go. I don't know if I've been to Wyoming. I'm trying to think. Because one time I know I was planning on going to Wyoming.
And touching down in an airport does not count. A connection in you're not even in the state. You're in an airport. That's not continental 48 Canada relief, but thanks for playing. You'd listed the 2 states, unless you're just messing with me, that I literally said don't count.
And I haven't been to Utah because, start going through.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour till we're out of here. Done. That's it. Over for today. Back at it tomorrow, obviously, with Phil Steele at 8 a.m. Eastern for a half an hour.
As long as he grabs the right stack of paper.
Right. Okay. For those of you that follow him on X and follow us, okay, between 7:30 and 8 o'clock today, you thought, wait a minute, he's going to be on the show today. That was Phil's doing. Phil even called in. I will say, Miller and Moulton, we've been together. We've known each other 25 years. We've been together on air 19, give or take a few months of being fired. And you get a lot of trust, obviously, with friends and with a partner in a business. And when I said to Mark, if by chance Phil Steele calls, ignore the call. Mark looked at me like, it's Phil Steele. What are you talking about? Ignore the call. And I go, nope, we're talking to Greg Auman, Fox. We're talking to Tampa Bay Bucs. It's Phil's mistake. Trust me, he's booked for tomorrow. Don't answer the phone. And Mark looks at me like, listen, I trust you about a lot of things, but why don't I just answer the damn phone?
And then I'm paranoid because we have Greg on. The phone's ringing nonstop. I can see that it's Phil Steele because I know where he lives and I know what the area code is. And I'm like, that's Phil. I know that area code. And then I'm paranoid if I put Greg on the air, am I going to hang up on him answering Phil? And it's like, oh, no, don't do this to me. And all that confusion, I did not record the Greg Auman interview. So it did not make hour 3 of the podcast. So for those of you listening via podcast, I don't know what to tell you. Go to youtube.com, Miller and Moulton. You can listen to it there. Go to twitch.tv. All of the shows in their entirety are on both of those platforms. So my apologies. We'll do better tomorrow. I promise.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Today Was the Day When is brought to you by Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, 427-3441. That's 239-427-3441. Online, GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Mention Miller and Moulton for 10% off of your service. We start in 1890, and we actually have 2 things that happened today in 1890. One not so good, one pretty good. The first one is that William Kemmler, who was guilty of murder, becomes the first person executed by the electric chair. It was in New York. Also in 1890, Cy Young makes his Major League Baseball debut, throwing a 3-hitter for the Cleveland Spiders. The atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima today in 1945. Satchel Paige, at the age of 46, or so he said, becomes the oldest pitcher to win a complete shutout. The St. Louis Browns would beat the Detroit Tigers today in 1952, 1-0 in 12 innings. Ted Williams returned from Korea today in 1953. He would end the abbreviated season with the .407 batting average, sending spring training back 50 years. 1963, the Philadelphia NBA franchise changes their name. They became the 76ers. David, do you know what they were before the 76ers?
Warriors?
The Nationals. 1972, Gary Player wins the PGA at Oakland Hills. 78, John Mahaffey comes from 7 down with 14 to play at Oakmont. He would beat both Tom Watson and Jerry Pate on the second hole of a playoff today in 1978.
And it's the only major that Watson didn't win was the PGA, or he would be the owner of a career Grand Slam, and he'd have 9.
Carl Lewis wins his second of 4 gold medals at the LA Olympics, winning the long jump today in 84. Canseco becomes the 11th player to have a 30-30 season with the A's today in 1988. That same day, Gossage becomes the second player in Major League Baseball history to record 300 saves. And that night in 1988, Yo MTV Raps premiered with Run DMC hosting the pilot episode. Furthermore, in 88, the number 1 album in the land, over a year after it debuted, Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses. Today in 89, the Red Sox retired number 8 of one Carl Yastrzemski. The World Wide Web became an available service on the internet today in 1991. Tony Gwynn goes 4 for 5. What else is new? And collects his 3,000th hit today in 1999 as the Padres beat the Expos. Tiger wins his 50th PGA Tour event today in 2006 at the age of 30, winning the Buick Open in Grand Blanc, Michigan. Jon Stewart hosts his final The Daily Show today in 2015. That was the same day that Hamilton opened on Broadway. And it was a year ago today that Pitbull bought the naming rights to the stadium at FIU. Dutch Schultz the Gangster, Lucille Ball, Andy Warhol, and Hall of Fame corner Ken Riley would have all celebrated birthdays today. The Admiral, David Robinson, is 60. Golfer Billy Mayfair, 59. Mike Greenberg is 58. Mike Budenholzer is 56. And Max Kellerman is 52. What did I miss, David?
You got to admit, and there are a lot of people that don't like Greeny anymore, which is funny to me because he was very popular when he was one half of Mike and Mike. But for whatever reason, they've grown tired of him with all the television exposure. Got to admit, he looks pretty good for 58.
Yeah, he does. Very good.
Whether he's, had, Botox or HGH or whatever, dyeing his hair, which he does. But I mean,
I wouldn't accuse him of any of the other things. I think he dyes his hair. I don't see anything.
No.
I don't think anything makes him look Botox-like.
Okay. I'm just saying, he looks good. Looks
he
real
does.
Good. Yeah. Voting Rights Act 60 years ago today, signed into law. Kind of noteworthy.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to Pensacola for the good, where the Escambia County Fire and Rescue engine number 1 had something stuck in it. It was a kitten, and the firefighters had to remove several skid plates from beneath the vehicle to get access to the kitten. The kitten was given a new home with a family member of the firefighter. For the bad, we go to Cape Coral. We are in broad daylight. A barefoot man walked up the driveway of Brenda Wan's home and stole her newly purchased e-bike. Apparently, she went into the home and left her garage door open for a few minutes to let some air out. Before getting ready to go to the store, a man approached the house, entered the garage, and rode off with her e-bike. Her husband says he's now planning more security measures for their home. Guys, I've got a great one for you. Shut your garage door. Seems like an easy way. Finally, the ugly. We go to British Columbia, where a fish started a fire. You heard that right. Apparently, an osprey caught a fish, but could not hold on to the fish. And the fish dropped out of the osprey's mouth, and it was dropped onto power lines, which sparked a brush fire in Western Canada. No word on whether the osprey didn't want sushi that night and preferred fried fish, or if the osprey ever did get its dinner. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, Wednesday, August the 6th, here on Miller and Moulton.
Got a lot of day baseball today. Guardians, Mets. Rays at 4 o'clock because they're on the West Coast. Marlins at 4:40, by the way. Interesting start time against the Astros. Orioles, Phillies, 12:30. Giants, Pirates, 12:30. Twins, Tigers on MLB Network, Mark, at 1:10. Reds and Cubs at 2:20. Yankees and Rangers at 2:30. Toronto and Colorado at 3. Cardinals and Dodgers following your Tigers at 4 on MLB Network. If you want to, watch a cable channel that a few more people have, Brewers, best team in baseball on FS1 tonight against the Braves at 7:15. But only 5 night games tonight in Major League Baseball.
Don't worry. Tomorrow's Thursday, and you know what that means in August. Preseason football.
Oh, got that right.
3 games tomorrow night, 3 more on Friday, and then a bunch on the weekend. 2 on Sunday. The Dolphins start their preseason Sunday against Chicago on the road, for those of you who just can't wait to watch a bunch of guys who won't make the team play. Although, I guess they're saying Burrow's going to start in their game for Cincinnati. Shedeur Sanders is starting for Cleveland. People have interest in that, of what happens there. So there are a few storylines that I think will interest some for preseason.
Vikings made it clear that they will play J.J. McCarthy Saturday, I believe it is, against New England. Houston. But then when they play New England the next week, he likely won't play in the game because they'll have 2 controlled scrimmages leading into the game. So there's no reason to play him in that. By the way, Tyreek Hill not practicing today, and
injury too. And they don't say what it is.
Exactly. So, let's just see if they gave him a rest day or this is the thing. That's all. A 30-year-old wide receiver who's just worthy of mentioning.
Had the wrist problem.
Right.
Is it that? Is it something else? We've not heard anything out of Dolphins camp about really any injuries with Hill. All the news about Tyreek Hill's been positive, but like Chris Perkins said on our show yesterday, let me see it for 2 months. Not a couple of days. Let me see it for a couple of months, because we all know, and these are Chris Perkins' words, Tyreek can be a knucklehead. But preseason football, a day away, a lot of baseball going on today. The FedEx Cup gets going tomorrow. Rory taking the tournament off. That has golf fans hot and bothered. David not only wants them to take this week off, but take next week off and show up for the Tour Championship.
Yeah, prove a point. I don't need the money. Okay. And since we're all starting at even par for the Tour Championship, let's go. He's second in the points right now. First off, I don't know if he's not going to be second after this tournament. He's got a huge lead on third place.
Right, but the points are amplified by quite a bit in these events. So I would imagine if anybody in the top 5, maybe top 8, wins this week, they would probably pass Rory.
Jordan Spieth, who used to be on the tour policy board, he seemed sort of understanding, but this Peter Molinari guy, he is bent out of shape. He wants to pass a rule that none of these golfers can skip any of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Once again,
it's not a rule now, so I've got no problem with what Rory's doing. I would lean on the side of Paul here that if you have a playoff, wow, I can't believe I just went Mora Jr. there. Playoff, I don't know where that came from, but if you're going to have a playoff, everybody that's in the playoff should play in the playoff. I'm fine with that rule, but it's not on the book, so you can't do a damn thing about it now.
Well, Rory's just saying, hold on. The 1 seeds get buys in the NFL. Okay, I'm a 1 seed. Scheffler's the other. Okay. I mean, last year you gave 4 teams to buy in college football. I mean, come on now. Yeah, I missed out on a payday. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Honey, did you get the mail? That Nike money come in? Uh-oh, and the Titleist money. That's good to know. Yeah, I'll see you guys in a week.
Shoeless Joe Sports Cafe is where your fantasy football draft should be. Free private rooms, Wi-Fi, plus food and drink specials. In August, Shoeless has bingo and trivia Tuesdays and Thursdays with your chance to win free wings and beer for a year. Fridays, live music on the deck. Saturdays, karaoke on the deck. Plus daily meal specials like Wednesdays, $6 wings and half-price pizza. Watch all your baseball and football at Shoeless Joe's, your home for good food, good times, and good sports in the Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.